Is this bulletproof?
It's not bulletproof. Please don't drop that.
So if I shoot a bullet at this card's
Yeah, but also you're
by you or Perk?
both.
There's one I could take there. I don't know. No offense.
I don't know. Just don't tap me on the head.
What's cooking, everybody? I am joined in the you can tell I'm amped right now. I am joined in the bunker today, nonetheless, by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Luke Cervino. Luke is an athlete and entertainer, marketer, manager, and business consultant. And over the past several years, one client that you will hear about a lot today, he can talk about a couple, I guess, but the one he's working with the closest is none other than another legend, Mr. Kendrick Perkins. Perk was a 15 or 16-year NBA veteran, a part of the 2003 draft class with none other than LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. But I digress. And Perk, in his second career, has become an absolute media fire flame thrower. I mean, outside of Stephen A. Smith, there's nobody in basketball, including Chuck, who's talking it like Perk is talking it on ESPN and on the internet, too. His Twitter's amazing. Go follow that. Anyway, this conversation with Luke was awesome. I was actually very surprised that he agreed to do it. Luke is a behind-the-scenes kind of guy. He is not somebody that likes a ton of attention, but nonetheless, he came down and we shot the shit for like 3.5 hours. And I actually went to end the podcast twice. Once at about 2:25, I was about to end it, and then Luke said something about my shirt that I was wearing in the podcast, and that turned into a whole conversation about movies and actors and stuff, and then I went to end it another 25 minutes later, and we went back to something we had covered extensively earlier on, which is none other than the sports trading card industry. You did hear that correctly. It is, believe me, blew my mind too. But Luke and Mr. Perkins, over the past year or so, I think a little bit before COVID and then especially during COVID, have partnered in a, call it, investment management firm of their own, investing in sports trading cards. And what's going on in this industry is insane. If you're familiar with StockX at all and what happens in the sneaker industry and how that's basically, like, things are turning into stock markets on their own. And collector's items are certainly a part of that. So Luke blew my mind on a few things with this, no doubt about it, and had some really funny conversations in there as well. We got very personal on Luke's mindset, and, you know, look, this guy's 26 years old, and he's running some serious circles and made some serious friends over the years, and obviously has the trust of guys like Kendrick and Remy Boy Monty and some others as well. I think he did mention a few other names, but I don't want to say anything myself right now. But, I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing, so getting him to open up on that a little bit, also surprising to see him do it on camera, which was cool. But, yeah, we rambled on. We had a good time. This was an exciting reunion. We hadn't seen each other since before COVID when we were doing a lot of work together, so it was nice to bring the homie down, and, yeah, good time. But let me just check my notes right here, see if I missed anything. No, I didn't. Just the regular ending right now. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you're watching this, would love for you to subscribe on YouTube. If you're not watching this and listening, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Podcasts, whichever one you're listening on. Or both, you know, subscribe on the video side, the listener side, whatever you want. And keep those reviews on Apple Podcasts coming. They are flames, people. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Let's keep that going. And any other things here? Oh, yeah, the thing I started last week. If you would please, pretty please, thank you, in advance, share with one friend who you think would like the podcast, this show, this week. I said that really messed up, but we'll go with it. If you would share the podcast with one friend, there we go. That would be amazing. I think if that's just something that the listeners do each week, we're going to grow this thing pretty quick. And, hey, everything that's happened so far is thanks to you guys. So I really appreciate it. And keep on keeping on. Wow, words are hard today. And Oh, yeah. The clips are coming up pretty much every day on YouTube, so keep checking those out. I know that's kind of new, so a lot of you aren't familiar with that, but you know what to do. And other than that, you know what it is. I'm Julian Dorey, and this is TRENDIFIER. Let's go! This is one of the great questions in our culture. Where is the nuance? You're giving opinions and calling them facts. You feel me? Everyone understands this, but few seem to do it. If you don't like the status quo, start asking questions.
The vibe, the weather, of course, but don't get me wrong, there's nothing like, tri-state area. Nothing.
No, the action's not the same.
No.
You think that's going to change after COVID, though? I mean, so many people did leave New York City, and they fled the metropolitan area, and they moved to places like Florida. Some people obviously moved to the suburbs in Jersey, New York, and stuff, but so they may stick around. But there's people that went west. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think definitely people are leaving New York, like you said, and going to migrate down to either, Florida, New Jersey, wherever it is. But New York's going to come back strong. New York is going to come back strong. It might take a little bit, but they're going to come back. New York is New York. There's no place like New York City, the Mecca. Like, it's just
Dude,
the
I'm
big apple.
so happy to hear somebody say that. I'm right there with you. New York is like... I mean, it's not just America. New York City is the world. Yeah. And so when I've had a bunch of the guys from New York in the studio so far, I've got some more coming down, and every time they're here, I'm like, dude, how is it? Like what is it? What's the vibe like? Like how is it? And a lot of people, they have hope if they're still sticking it out and stay there the whole time. But other people are like, I don't know, man. Like a lot of people moved, streets are still empty, and they really just fucked up the city, I guess, like politically or whatever. But it is an absolute landmark of a place that the second I can get back up there, I'm getting back up there.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, and right now it still is a ghost town to New York City, of course, but New York is New York, bro. There's no other place ever going to be like it, and there's no place ever going to just how New York is and the way it operates and the people there. It's going to come back.
I mean, they had a bad decade in the 70s, if you remember. Like it was kind of bad in New York. Like crime was all-time highs. We'll have to check this after, but they literally made a show out of it too on HBO. I don't remember what it was called. The Deuce. That's it. James Franco was in it. And, they talked about how you could walk one block off Times Square and it was like a war zone. I mean, so there have been downtowns before. And whenever we get into these things, we're always like, oh, no, it's over. Like, the worst is now going to happen. And I don't want to do that. And look, I mean, we're still sitting here waiting on a pandemic to end, waiting on getting this damn vaccine out and all that shit. So people are... They're still stuck in the malaise, and the negativity is still going to be there, and the political unrest and all that. It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you explain like what all these pictures mean to you in a way, either individually or just as a whole? Like, because these are awesome, and I love the way you put everything together.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, if you're not watching right now and you're listening, Luke's pointing to the studio walls here and some of the artwork.
Yeah, because you got Muhammad Ali, you got, Kylie Jenner up there. You got McGregor, Post Malone, Rihanna. So you got some classic people up there.
It's the artwork in the studio was my biggest nerd out making it, because you're going to be in the studio. It's a vibe. You're bringing in people. You want people to feel like it's a little bit of a different spot, and you want to have your inspiration around you. So, there's all kinds of people that I'm inspired by. All kinds of people. But to get it down to all right, who am I going to put on this wall, where maybe I have room for 15, 20 total pictures, it's not necessarily like I picked the top of the echelon of exactly who I love, but I picked among the ones that I love, what made sense. And so a theme that I really fuck with that I wanted to get across within here was the idea of parallel realities. So it just kind of came together where the black and white went over the color, and I went with old school stuff over new school stuff. So besides the one wall over here with the eyes from Great Gatsby, Dr. T.J. Eckleberg's eyes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like that was like its separate thing. I always knew I wanted that. I found this great artist, Kelly Jean, who did a great rendering of it, and I kind of wanted that overlooking the studio. And then the other 3 walls, I wanted to put old school versus new, like I said. And so over here, we have one of the original atom bomb tests that we did right after World War II.
Wow.
And then over that, we have a re-rendering of the hand of God of Adam, and, like that famous Michelangelo picture, except the one hand is replaced by a robot hand. So it's kind of like the last frontier was we were facing potential nuclear war, like are humans going to kill themselves? And now it's like, oh, are we facing potential machine war where humans create something that kills them? So that was like the deep existential wall. And then over here, what you're pointing out, yeah, man, I went after people I admire and people who had some weird parallels in a lot of ways. So, like when you see Kylie right there, I put Grace Kelly above her. And Kylie's is literally a screenshot I did from her Instagram, whereas Grace Kelly's on the cover of Vogue. And it's kind of like that's what used to be the it girl marketing.
Yeah. Now it's the modern.
Exactly.
What is
exactly.
I like that.
And so
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
You got some great people up there. I mean,
thanks, man.
Post Malone. He's awesome.
Dude, he's just a cool guy. Like you can't not smile when you look at him.
He's the man, bro. He's got swag. He's got the music. I mean, he's living life.
Isn't he doing that beer pong league now too?
He does do that beer pong.
Is that live?
Yeah. I don't know if it's live, but that is. I seen a clip of it, and it was just. It's Post Malone. When you say Post Malone, what do you think of? You obviously think of his music, but you just think
Bud
of
Light and cigarettes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just Post Malone. He's the man. He's the man.
He's got such a cool story in that you see this guy with all the tattoos on him and everything, and he's way different than you in that way.
Oh yeah.
But he's kind of just like everyone else. Like he likes to fuck around and have a good time, and like he doesn't think he's good at anything, even though he's this great artist. He's just a guy I admire a lot, and I think like, maybe some of the things that he does, you're kind of like, oh, why would he do that? But you're not him.
Nah.
Like we all have these ideas of, oh, if I were that person, this is what I would. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. You can't think like that, and those people that are like that, they don't think about the next person and what they're thinking of them. So you can't do that.
No. But how was the drive down here? By the way, I forgot to ask you.
Oh, it was good.
A little hike.
But I gotta ask you something.
Yeah.
What state are we in? I took the drive. I'm like, I gotta go see Julian. Gotta come check everything out. But on the maps, like I kind of lost where I was going in a way. But I got here. I made it.
Have you ever seen the other map of New Jersey?
No, I never have.
The one with like where it breaks down the sections not by the name of the region, but by what it actually is?
No.
Oh, so like I might get this one wrong, but as an example, Monmouth County is like bankers, hookers, and something. And so where you are right now, where I grew up around Philly, is we are right on the top edge, right here, about 1 minute into the top edge of what's called basically Alabama.
Basically
Alabama.
Right.
So
I never been to the real Alabama State, but I could kind of get what I'm at.
This is what it would look like. Yeah. So what did it take to get down here? Like 2 hours or?
Yeah, almost 2 hours. About hour and 50 minutes. Yeah, 2 hours.
Not too bad.
Yeah. No.
And you've been. I mean, we talked about Miami before the podcast, and maybe when we started the podcast too. But you've been back in Jersey more of the time, right?
This year, yes.
Like during COVID, have you been pretty much here most of it?
Yeah, I came back a week before COVID and the pandemic, with the lockdown in New Jersey happened. And I've been here, so from March to, we're in December now. So I've been here from March to like November. And then I went down to Miami for the last a month. I went down for a month.
Got it. At your place?
Yeah. And in Delray Beach, and I mean it's beautiful. Atlantic Ave is 7 minutes away, and Atlantic Ave is.
Take me back there.
Atlantic Ave down there is. You're familiar with Hoboken? It's Washington Street, but I hope no one gets offended. But it's a nicer Washington Street.
Oh,
it's cleaner, and but it's the same type of vibe where restaurants, bars, you got everything on that one strip.
Yeah, for people that haven't been to Miami, Atlantic Ave is where they shot some of the most famous scenes in Scarface, and it's just like, it's magical.
Yeah, Atlantic Ave is
love
great,
Miami.
and even down in Miami, like South Beach, and I was down there, so it's where Miami and Atlantic Ave are. Delray Beach to Miami is about 50 minutes, 45 minutes north. But and I go down to Fort Lauderdale, which is 30
Fort Lickerdale.
Fort
Get it right.
Fort Lickerdale, and which is about 30 minutes south, and then down in Miami where everything's happening, and I like my dad. He went to University of Miami, which is in Coral Gables, and I love that area too. So. One day I'll be back down there living full time. So
yeah, well, you can kind of work. It doesn't really matter where you work for what you do.
Yeah, no.
What's been the latest and greatest? I see your boy Perk blowing the fuck up.
Yeah,
tell me about that.
Perk is Kendrick Perkins. Me and him been working together for about 4 or 5 years now, and I honestly got to say it's an honor. I've worked with plenty of athletes over the last couple of years, and me and Perk definitely have a special relationship, a bond, and when you're working with somebody, it's always kind of like that back and forth. But me and Perk really formed that great friendship. I went out to Houston about 2 months ago, spent time with him and his family, his kids. His kids are awesome. His wife is great, Vanity, and it was awesome. Houston's a great city. So
never been down there.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, and he's like right outside the city.
Yeah, he's right out. He's about 40 minutes north of Houston City. Yeah. So he's in Tomball.
Yeah. So, that's like where Jimmy Butler's from.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I remember that because he would have like on his Twitter bio like Tomball all day or something like that.
Yeah. So no, Houston's great. We went out to I forget the restaurant we went to, but we were with Tony Allen, who they played on the Celtics
42,
together.
baby.
Yeah. TA, so we were out there with TA, and
he was
a
lockdown defender.
Kobe said he was, one of the toughest guys he went up against.
Yeah, I believe it. He was
the great Kobe Bryant, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. for real. Yeah. But yeah, he was. Yeah, dude, he was an underrated player.
Oh, he was.
He could play that 08 Celtics team.
You know what college you went to?
Oklahoma State.
You're right. You're right. Man. Yeah, I like that.
Johnny Lucas at point. I remember that. Who was Eddie Sutton?
Eddie Sutton? Yeah. I think so. Yeah, you're right.
That was a good team. I know them because, like we were all fans of St. Joe's that year. Yeah. A little Philly team with Jameer and Delonte in the backcourt, which, by the way, very cool what Mark Cuban did with Delonte. Very cool.
Yeah.
But they went to the Elite Eight. They were like the number 1 team in the country that year, and they lost, I think, on a buzzer beater from John Lucas. But I remember that team, and I was like, damn, like Tony Allen could ball. Oh, like he could ball. No, and then he was like kind of under the radar coming into the NBA. And And then he had a really good career. Memphis.
I had worked out with Jameer Nelson a couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
We were working out at a facility in Fairfield, New Jersey.
Up there? Yeah.
Sports University. And this was...
Is that off Kulik Ave?
I think that's exactly the
That's
street.
it. Dude, that's right next that's right next to Lombada's warehouse.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's like kind of on the opposite side, but right there. Yeah. And we were working out with Joe Hahn, the trainer, awesome guy. And, Jameer was there, so, we trained together, and, he's a great guy. He's a good guy,
Yeah, they were heroes.
I was a big fan of him because he's a smaller guy,
He's little.
Yeah. I wouldn't use the term little, but
sorry. I'm not supposed to say midget. I'm not supposed to say.
No, I'm only fucking with you.
But dude, people look at you and they go, "All right, what? This is a 26-year-old guy from North Jersey. How are you running in circles like that? Like when did you meet Perk? You said a few years ago.
I met him. Well, my brother Chaz was talking to Kevin Garnett. We were doing some work with him. And then KG had introduced us to, a bunch of his friends, Chauncey Billups, Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, and then, Kendrick. And, right from then, me and Kendrick just hit it off. And it was kind of like a snowball effect. So what I do with him is handle his social media accounts, bring in endorsement opportunities and business opportunities, investments, whatever it is. So, we really have a great thing going on. And
how'd you build that kind of trust though? And I ask that just because we all know the stereotypes, and frankly, they're real. And that is these guys, these athletes, these entertainers, they have so many people coming up to them all the time in their face. Oh man, I got this opportunity for you. I got that opportunity. I'll be your guy, whatever. I can't even imagine trying to balance all that as them. Yeah. But you, this young kid from New Jersey, meets him and suddenly is like, you know what? All right, you're my guy.
I mean, that's a great question. And I think just when I was growing up, I always just felt like I just had to be myself. And, whether it was around friends or whether it was around a celebrity or somebody I wanted to work with or, whoever it was, I just always felt like being myself, like whether somebody likes me or not, I'm happy with myself. So I just felt as if like, hey, listen, I'm gonna bust my ass and I'm gonna work hard. But also, like I said, I've worked with so many guys that, you want that same thing in return. You don't want to feel as if you're working your ass off for somebody and then, that other person doesn't feel like the loyalty or the respect that they're giving you. So, with me and Perk, it was literally right off the bat. And, I just kept it real and, always has. And that's how he is. He's one of the honest and realest guys I've met and worked with.
He's having a moment too, dude.
Oh, yeah. Right after he retired, he had took about, maybe 2 or 3 months and just kind of cleared his head, after playing basketball for
30 years.
Yeah, 25, 30 years. He went from high school to the NBA. And it's tough, when you're giving up that sport that you love at a 34-year-old, 35-year-old age. Yeah. You're thinking about your next move. But he took those 2 to 3 months off and he just dove right into the media. He was on ESPN, The Get Up, First Take, and
what was the other one?
The other one is The Jump.
That's it.
Yeah. So he was on those 3, and now he's going into his 3rd year. And the first year, I think last year he was booked for maybe 70, 80 episodes, and he blew that right out the water. Yeah. I think he was on 105. So
wow.
Yeah. No, they love him.
He hustled into it, man. Yeah. I mean, and he's...
Oh, he works extremely hard. When I was out there in Houston, we're going out to dinner. We're coming back. We're smoking cigars, Lucia cigars, by the way.
Ooh.
And
we're... Got the little boy in the back, too.
Yeah. We're smoking Lucia cigars. And then at 12, 1 o'clock the next, at night, he's waking up at 3, 4 in the morning, putting his suit on and getting on the mic with ESPN.
Now, is he a top half suit guy? Or does he go the whole way? Because, he's on camera. Like, everyone's remote right now, and all these guys, they're wearing the suit, and they got, like, boxers underneath there.
Yeah.
They don't get caught. Like,
what do you got underneath?
I got shorts, man. We can see it from this camera over here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, dude, no fucking around here. Although I don't wear shoes. I've never worn shoes in this studio once. But is he a full suit guy?
I don't think he is. Sometimes I think he is.
I think he might be lying. I don't know.
I can't tell on Perk. That's my man.
But yeah, dude, he probably the best accomplishment that he's had is he's entering TV during the worst fucking time to enter it, like over the past 5 years. And he has, in some ways, while operating underneath the FCC standards of what he's allowed to say and what he's not, he has found a way to morph what he does on TV with what goes online, and it's seamless with the other content that's online only. So, like, when he gives his takes, even when I massively disagree with him on something, it is must-see TV every time. And it ends up 2-3 minute clips on Instagram. If he wants to get in a fight with Kevin Durant on Twitter, like it happens. So he's got such a good feel for it.
Yeah. No, he does. He and that's the thing too. Like, just how I was saying, you asked me a question on how do I build relationships with people. Perk is Perk is who he is on the camera, off the camera. Yeah. You know, he's gonna tell you it like it is. He's gonna say his opinion, but he's gonna have some swagger and a little taste to it. You know what I mean? So Perk always throws a twist in there. He always got some jokes, and he's even came up with his own punchline, Carry On.
Oh yeah,
So
I saw that. You literally got like an Instagram account called Carry On.
Got the Instagram account Carry On.
That's hilarious.
It's everybody's saying it. People are texting me. You know, they're saying a statement. Hey, I'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock. Carry on. You know, it's like, hey, we're still on for tomorrow meeting. Carry on.
Didn't LeBron use it?
LeBron did. Yeah.
On that
so
repost.
It's it's awesome. It's awesome. Perk's one of a kind, and our success together is definitely just in the beginning, but we got a lot of work to do, and he works extremely hard. Like I said, he's a great man. He's a great dude.
But you also started slow, like in the sense that you were just for a long time there before you becoming his manager and doing all the business stuff. You were literally just doing his social.
Oh
right?
yeah, I was doing social and bringing endorsement deals.
Yep. Okay, so you were doing some deals early on.
Oh yeah.
Wow, so he gave you that trust right away.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. We were we I don't know how in a way we built this kind of relationship, but we talk almost every day, whether it's text or phone call, and but it really exploded because in his last 2 years or last year, he was on that bench kind of coaching player role. And then after that, that's when he jumped right into the media and things kind of exploded. Back in 2008 when he won the championship, we didn't know each other. But then when he went to OKC, then he was with the Pelicans, then he went to the Cavs, then that's where we met. And then from there, him jumping into the media, it really exploded. He took total advantage of that, and bro, he owns it. He loves it. He loves doing the media stuff. Analytics wise, you're learning more about the game, and he covered the free agency, he covered the draft. Preseason starts in a couple of days from now, and the season starts 22nd of December. So I mean, he loves it, man. He really does.
Yeah, it's almost like his last cut, because he had a long career because he came right out of high school. Yeah. He's a big guy, too. Oh, yeah. Like, he's not just big. Like, he's big, man. Yeah, that's a lot of body to carry around playing 82 games a year for a long time. Yeah. But you could tell his last maybe, like, season and a half, like, it wasn't quite there anymore. He wasn't.
Injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, like, the thing about him that I loved is, like, I guess he did his last season with LeBron in Cleveland, and like the final start versus the Warriors, and who's getting in the fight with the Warriors? It's fucking Perk on the bench. Perk, like, I'm ready to throw hands, dude. Like, don't fuck around. He's so like.
And don't forget about the Drake one too.
What was the Drake one?
Oh, you didn't see that one?
No.
He was going back and forth with Drake. They were arguing about something, and
over the Raptors.
Yeah.
Classic.
And then I think
he's got no chill.
I think that's when LeBron went and hit the buzzer beater in Game 7.
Oh yeah. That's like 2018.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
but like I pointed out, because we talk about it with some other things too, but especially with athletes, when their career ends, very often, number one, they're the last one to know. Like, you're a great player in the NBA or NFL or whatever. Like, you're that guy, whoever that is. And then one day you very clearly lose a step and you don't realize it because you're that guy. You're so focused. This is your world. Yeah. And then at some point it just kind of, the rug gets pulled out from under you. And now it's like, oh shit. Let's say I had a 10-year career in the NBA. And before that I was in high school or college. It's like for the last 15, 20 years of my life, I've had one job to do, very, very hard. I gave my body to it, and I've never had to worry about doing anything for myself. Like, everything's scheduled. Like, we're playing 82 games in an NBA season. You're going into the playoffs. Like, there's no time for anything. Your team organization tells you where to be, and, like, you're there. Yeah. And now suddenly you got all this time. Yeah. And you're also young. It's the only, I don't want to say the only one, but it's one of the few industries where it's like, when you're in your human prime, you're retired. So you have all this time in front of you and all these things, and suddenly you have all these interests, and a lot of guys struggle with, will I ever be able to feel anything like I felt when I was playing the game? And then they can't deal with it. Yeah. And what I like about him is that maybe like he hung on a little too long at the end, but to your point, I mean, what do you do? Take off 2 months, and he's training that whole time, and then he just jumps right into it and gets after it.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I think about when you bring something like that up is Kobe Bryant, because when Kobe Bryant went into being a writer and publishing a book, people asked him, like, how did you do this transition? How did you kind of, put this in and have this passion for it? And he said, I've always had a passion for writing. I've always had a passion for telling a story, so it's, for whether it's a celebrity or an athlete or, whoever it is, like, and your career is kind of over unless you're hitting that, older stage, but, you have to find something that you're passionate about. And Perk really found it, and he loves it. I mean, he loves working. He loves talking about basketball.
He's also the best at it.
All right, thank you, bro. He's awesome. He really is. He's awesome. People love him, and ratings are up. And it's great. It's great to see him on TV, and he really kills it. He does.
Yeah, Kobe was really a model for that, though. I'm glad you point that out.
Think about it. He won that Grammy, didn't he? Or no, he won. No, not a Grammy. He won
an Oscar.
He won an Oscar for his book, for his children's book.
Yep. And he set up a venture capital fund, I believe it was. Yeah. We'll get the name of that after, put it in the show notes. But he stayed so active with it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think about it all the time, because Kobe's your favorite of all time, right?
Definitely.
And that's
Kobe,
like legit. This isn't like after he's dead. Like Luke was always talking about Kobe. And you were the one who turned me on to the Patrick Bet-David sit down he did like last August.
That's one of my favorites.
Unbelievable that was like his last.
How detailed this guy is. I mean, how detailed, Kobe was. And it just, I was heartbroken when it happened. But to see this guy work so hard, and for people to kind of say, like, oh, Kobe, X, Y, and Z was the best player, but this guy's the best skill player. But Kobe worked the hardest.
Yeah.
Kobe. In my opinion, you have Michael Jordan, who's the best player ever. But to me, it's right next to him is Kobe Bryant.
And Michael Jordan is, and now we really know because of The Last Dance, but a lot of people maybe didn't know because there wasn't social media when he was around, but Michael Jordan has one of the bigger egos of all time, right? Obviously, he's an icon. He's the greatest player to ever play the game. Don't at me. But I remember there was a quote, maybe, I don't know, this could have been like 10 years ago, something like that. Like, Kobe was a 5-time champion when this quote came out. And they were asking Michael, because he doesn't do much media at all. Like, the best he'll do is, like, you get to write something down, like, as a reporter. You don't get to video him. And they were asking him, what he thinks of some of the players. And he goes, I think Kobe's one of the top 10 shooting guards of all time.
Yeah.
And, like, you're like, okay.
Come on.
But you saw it. Like, that's just Michael talking and whatever. Yeah. But when you watched that memorial service in L.A. and you see Jordan talk about that, Michael Jordan does not feel that way about many people in this world.
No.
I mean, if people haven't seen that speech he gave, is all of 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't long, but we've seen him cry.
You felt it.
Yeah.
You felt it.
He had such a respect for how, like, it was almost like Kobe was like a gnat at the beginning, like, all right, this kid wants to be me, like, relax. Yeah. But then he just kept going his whole career. And, like, a winner, real recognizes real.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And Michael did recognize that, too. At any point in time, he did. And it was just a matter of, like, all right, he as much as he wants to be me, he's going to do everything in his power to be better than me.
Yeah.
And that speech that Michael Jordan gave at his memorial, I mean, it was great.
Yeah, and to go back to the Patrick Bet-David one you showed me, I guess that was like an hour and a half long or 2 hours or something.
Yeah, I think it was an hour and a half. Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 months before he passed, and you raised the point, like, he took you straight into his mind state.
He did. There's one part in there where he's like, at I think it was 11 or 12 years old, where he didn't score a point the whole season.
Yeah.
And when he got older, I think 14, 15, he became a lot better. But then he realized at 15, 16 that nobody that he was playing against, or the kids that age, were using their left hand as the way that they should be at that age. So he said, okay, I have a good jump shot, my game is good, but my weakest point is my left hand. So for a whole year, he worked on his left hand, dribbling, with layups, whatever it was. And he said, by 2 or 3 years from now, while these other kids are just working on their jump shots or just working on this, I'm working on the weakest points in my game so that by 18, 19, yes, it helps when you're growing and you're going to be taller, you're more athletic. But my weakest points helped me become even better than everybody else. Yeah. Like I said, his attention to detail was it was crazy. It was crazy.
And look, that's what served him well post-career because he just took it and moved it to the next thing. Yeah. And he had it, I'll forget the name of the companies, but there's like one company he invested in, maybe it was body armor for like $2.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he invested a lot of money, but they were worth like $2 when he did, and now they're, I think, going public. Like, everything he touched turned to gold because that was his approach. He's like, he didn't know how to turn off a switch. No. Like, he didn't know how to not be that guy. No.
And he wanted to conquer the impossible. He did. Like, he was one of those. He
talked about that.
I know. Yeah. I know. And he was just one of those people that just wanted every challenge he accepted. But he also knew that he even says it too. He's like, if he's hanging out with Michael Jordan or, whatever it is, and Kobe didn't play golf. He didn't play like ping pong, whatever. Mm-hmm. But Michael was the ultimate competitor where he's like, all right, we're playing ping pong. And Kobe's like, bro, I don't know how to play ping pong. Of course you're going to beat me. Like let's play something that, I know I'm good at. Like, so he was modest in that way. Where you have other competitors that are like, no, I'm better than you, and no matter what,
Yeah, so. He wanted to be great at certain things.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, back to where we started this rabbit hole. A lot of these athletes, they don't know where to channel that when the career's over, and I think a lot of them, that's where they get in trouble. They get involved in bad investments because, they're just somebody coming in for a quick buck, like, oh yeah, he'll throw money at this or whatever. Or they try to get into business and they know nothing about the business because they're not interested in it because it has nothing to do with what they did their entire life. Yeah. And the other one is you'll see some guys be like, oh yeah, I'll just go into media. They don't think about where legacy media is these days. They don't think about the fact that every athlete that retires with half a brand or whatever, like they're trying to do that too. And so only a certain number of you are actually going to be on the places that matter and therefore making money. And like also, when you're doing it these days, unless you're on the TNT crew or something like huge like that, these guys make a lot less money doing that than we realize. And I don't know what Perk makes, and you don't need to say that. But the thing about Perk is, regardless of what he makes on there, he's leveraging it so well. So he can, he's so marketable off TV.
No, just before the point where you were talking about, it's literally just finding a passion. Yeah. You, after basketball, these guys that were playing, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever athlete, whatever sport you're playing, it's finding that next passion. Some guys find it while they're playing, and then they're getting into it. You got guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a very intelligent guy. He's in the tech world. Mm-hmm. He his thing is I'm a tech guy with a jump shot. Like it's awesome. So you see these guys getting into things, business opportunities while they're playing, but then afterwards you get some guys that are like, oh, what's my next move? What should I do? So you just really have to find what you're passionate about, and it could be anything in the world. These guys are, after playing, they have a platform, especially now with social media. Take advantage of that. Put content out there, put whatever you're passionate about, whether it's a business or a hobby, whatever it is, and that's it. That's really it.
Perk's also like best friends with some of the biggest guys in the game. Yeah. I mean, like he's really close with LeBron. Yeah. How are he and Durant doing these days?
They're, I think it's a very unique relationship.
Can you give context there? Like discuss that a little bit. Tell people what the latest was there.
I can't give too much details because honestly, just like other friends, me and Perk don't really talk about that. Yeah. He's not gonna say, hey bro, he's not gonna call me and gossip about somebody else. And I'm not gonna ask him. That's not the type of person I am. Yeah. But there was beef going back a couple of years ago, and then, even this past year, just about, Perk would say this, but they had the beef, but then they go on there and they ask Perk a question and they say, who's the greatest scorer of all time? Perk's unbiased. He's saying Kevin Durant. Yeah. People are like, no, it's Michael Jordan. Perk saying no. This 6'10", score from anywhere on the court to a 3-pointer to getting to the basket. No one can score like this guy. Yeah. But couple months ago, they're arguing on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Kevin Durant calls him a sellout.
Yeah, that was the nature of it, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't take the smoke, though. Like, he'll come right back at it.
Oh, yeah. No, he goes right back. But at the end of the day, like, he even said it. You know, he came out and he definitely felt some type of way about it. But at the end, he came out and said, listen, you know, Kevin, you're my brother. You know, whatever it is. And, you know, but like I said, bro, Perk he's going to go on there and speak his mind. And if he thinks he's the best scorer, he's going to be the best scorer. You know what I mean? So it's like, he's not like, oh, he's not going to feel some type of way. I'm having an argument with this guy, but I don't think he's the best. No, Perk is not like that. You know?
Now, you handling like all the endorsements of him, though.
Yeah.
At the beginning, before he was like getting big in the media and things like that, like how did you have a lot of these connections to hook him up with some of these brands that sponsored him? Because he had that right away.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I was reaching out to them, email, direct message, you know, whatever it is, and you know, I'm saying, hey, listen, I represent Kendrick Perkins. You know, we want to formulate a mutual beneficial partnership. You know, but the brand had to align with what the content and who Kendrick is. Yeah. You know, you can't make any athlete a billboard. You know, realistically, how many guys in basketball, sports in general, are an actual brand? You know what I mean? Very, very few. So I'm not gonna say, hey, you know, we want to work with 30 brands when, you know, realistically we know that we could create great content and build, you know, a following for, you know, a couple brands, but have a long-term partnership with them. That's how I think about it. And, you know, me and Perk are very, you know, Perk's a marketing guy. He is. Yeah. He is. He's a marketing guy. Don't think that carry on thing just came and you know, was an idea, but he rolled with it. And now it's a trend. Now everything's out there that's, wait, what pocket? TRENDIFIER? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like the little tie in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way you look at that is actually refreshing because so many of these guys are just going after the bag. Like, oh, they want to pay me? Cool. Bet. Like, I'm in. Oh, they want to pay me? Cool. Bet. I'm in.
Or an influencer, you know, you see influencers that are, you know,
everyone who's high end in culture. Like that's a lot of what they do. And you do see some influencers who really, really care about the products that they sponsor, meaning it's got to be something they use and love all the time. But your approach with that, it sounds like that was pretty much a day one thing where Perk was like, hey, I want to work with stuff I fuck with, nothing else.
Yeah. It's definitely have to be organic, and creating content has to be organic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whether you're working with a brand or a business or, you know, whatever it is, you just have to feel like it's organic. You know what I mean? You don't want to have that, you know, that feel of approach when you're creating content of, you know, this is how it's going to be. You know, but there's people out there, influencers, athletes that, hey, you pay them enough money, they'll act. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Perk he's real. So he wants to work with people that want to work with him.
And what else are you guys working on? Because obviously he's got his main brand being on TV, and then he, like I said, he leverages that onto the internet so well, man. Yeah. So that gets him his name, and that's just kind of continued to grow. But he's on from a business standpoint, like what kinds of endorsements have you guys been doing, and is he looking at doing any of his own business interests as well?
Yeah. But before I answer that, I wanted to tell you, because you always bring up, you know, years ago you were saying, hey, LinkedIn, you got to take advantage of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So
R.I.P. LinkedIn, though, in some ways.
I've been talking to Perk, and he created a LinkedIn account during the pandemic about maybe six months ago.
He's doing well on there.
Oh,
I do have to say that.
He loves it.
I'm not going to get into LinkedIn right now.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk about what he's doing on there, because he actually is doing very well on LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, he loves it. He loves it. He's I was like, listen, you got to get on LinkedIn. He's like, Luke, what is LinkedIn? He's like, bro, what is it? I'm like, bro, it's a social media platform. You know, you have your resume up there, who you are, and you post content about what you got going on in your life. It's kind of Instagram, but more business sense.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. He's like, you could connect with people, you talk to them, and social media. So he starts posting on there, and I think the first 5 posts that he puts up there, one of them hits like 10,000 views.
Yeah.
And he's 2 weeks into posting, 2 weeks into creating the account. And he's like, bro, this is awesome. He's like, I'm connecting with these people. So he loves LinkedIn. But I had to mention that because I know you were, definitely
yeah, dude,
big LinkedIn guy.
Back in end of 2018, beginning of 2019, LinkedIn had such a good opportunity to.
It still does.
It
a
may.
like button is the equivalent to a share button.
Well, not as much anymore. That's why I say, like, you're a little jaded with, or jaded's not the word, but your view on this is probably a little different because Perk is doing really well on there. Like, I actually look at his because it almost makes no sense. Whereas some of the guys that I knew who were like LinkedIn influencers back in 2019, where they used to get 50,000 views on a video, they get 5,000 now. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess Perk is like, he's committed to that space so much, and he puts up content everywhere, but on LinkedIn you can tell it's not bullshit. Like, he's putting out whatever's on his mind, and it's so surprising to people to see that on LinkedIn. They're like, oh, wait, ex-NBA players like actually not on here saying I used to play in the NBA. He's like posting all this stuff and his business interests. Like, all right, so I think on his end, he's probably getting a lot more help in the algorithm because people are genuinely like surprised to see it. Whereas a lot of the rest of LinkedIn that was doing great on things, like, they're not anymore. Their discoverability's so down. There's guys who I used to follow their stuff all the time. They can't even show up in my feed anymore. I can't even get them there. And I see people making less content, and I say, like, LinkedIn kind of blew it because they had a chance to become that professional, true, lead with good content platform, and they never morphed to that. They kept their profiles as, like, you know, that, I don't even know what it is, but it's got your resume on there. It's like this compartment, that, too many buttons and bells and whistles. They didn't go more simple, like, you know, a Twitter did or an Instagram did, and find their own niche there. So it's nice to see him doing very well on it, and it's kind of cool just because, like, he's doing it. He kind of got into it at almost the worst time, and he's leveraging it like crazy.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. He loves it, and, you know, he's putting content out there. Like you said, Perk is not a he's gonna put content of what he thinks he wants to put out there. So you know, his son Stone, his nickname is Stone. Kingston.
I thought his kid was named Stone for a minute. Like,
no,
wow.
he's about 8 years old, and he's almost bigger than me. So I'm not saying I'm that big, but
again, don't send me down that path, man. You said it, not me.
Yeah, but they just won the championship for the I think it was 8 and 9 year olds down in Texas, and you know, he put that up there, and it was the whole team and Kendrick and the coaches.
So he puts personal life stuff in there too. Yeah.
So, but other business things that me and Perk got into are trading cards, sports trading cards. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So I'll say right up front, I know very little about the trading card business. I know.
Wow, Julian, you know very little.
Believe it or not, there's some things I don't know much about, man. He's kidding.
Yeah, right.
But I'm aware of how much StockX has just exploded in the last, especially 5-6 years. Yeah. And so that created the concept of literally taking apparel to the stock market and making your own stock market with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And now my understanding is that, and I haven't looked into it deeply at all, but the same thing is happening with literal trading cards. And is this strictly like sports trading cards? What's the full story there?
It's sports trading cards. Okay. I personally, me and Perk focus on basketball. There's enough guys in the NBA to buy and sell their trading cards. You know, football, it's a lot. You have a lot of players. You know, really the guys in football that are worth something are, you know, quarterbacks or wide receivers and stuff like that. But basketball, the market is crazy.
If you can see their face.
If you're not in the sports card industry right now, I'm telling you, don't wait. Get in it right now. Research, learn, whatever you have to do. It's just like anything else, you know. But the thing is that so when we started investing, when my dad was buying,
explain what that looks like, because like you're saying, you're in the sports card business.
Okay.
So what does that mean? What are you guys doing?
We're buying. You know, let me just.
Oh, he's got some goodies downstairs. Look at this. I remember Pokemon cards. That's when
Pokemon cards are back too. Don't
sleep on Pokemon, people.
So I had bought back in February. I had bought a Luka Doncic Panini Prism. This is now the base card, right?
What do you mean Panini Prism?
So the card is the prism. So Panini makes the cards.
Got it. So
Now,
there's like Tops. And...
There's Tops, Panini.
Okay.
There used to be a bunch of different ones, but the main ones for basketball, the only one for basketball is really is Panini.
I'm holding this up to the camera. If you're watching right now, if you're listening, I'll just describe it as it's a very shiny card and it's got serious protection around this. I feel like I just walked out of a store and robbed something.
And we can open these. I bought these from StockX.
Oh, I can touch.
Yeah.
Wait, you bought this from? So StockX is in this business now.
StockX is in this business.
I did know that.
You can buy and sell trading cards off their platform. And
what does this mean though? Because
so
I'm looking at it. It says verified authentic.
Yes.
On there,
So
and it's from StockX.
And that's yes. But so you can buy a raw card. A raw card would be without this PSA authentication. So now we have a great partnership with PSA. Shout out to everybody over at PSA. They really help me and Perk out with all our grading all our cards. I mean, they're the best in the business. PSA all the way. Perk's slogan with PSA is, if it ain't PSA, don't bring it my way.
Oh, love that.
So
how many places are there like that are? So how do they
grading?
choose? Yeah, how do they choose like who's trusted to grade?
There's two.
Okay.
I trust PSA. Those are my guys. But there's another company called Beckett. Now you could get your cards graded with Beckett or PSA. I'm a PSA guy all the way. Me and Perk are PSA.
And how do they grade it? I mean, that's probably a stupid question, but how do they know?
Nothing is a stupid question.
If a card's authentic or not?
How they grade it is by the print of the card, if it's centered, if the corners are all intact, and if the card is in good condition. Now it's very hard. It's very hard to get. This is a Gem Mint 10. Now I bought these graded already. You can also buy. Now this is a Zion card. You can also. This is.
When did you get that?
Rookie of the Year, Ja Morant.
Yeah. When did you get those?
I bought these this year, and me and Perk have been investing, a lot of time, money to the trading card world. And so basically, you can buy a card raw that's not graded, and probably, a Ja Morant card right now, non-graded, is probably going for $150.
Okay.
But you can go on, eBay. I'm working a great partnership with Star Stock. They just started their business about 6 months ago. Amazing platform. You got to check it out.
What's it called?
Star Stock.
Star Stock.
Yeah.
Is that like they're trying to compete with eBay?
Not necessarily. So what happens with eBay is you buy a card off eBay, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you have to wait till you get the card in order for you to sell it again. Star Stock. Say there's a game tonight. Now, 8 o'clock in the morning, you go on there and the Knicks are playing, or, Ja Morant, the Grizzlies are playing, a bad team. And you're like, Ja Morant's going to go off. He's going to have a triple-double, 30-point game. His stock's going up. You could go on there right now, Star Stock, at 10 o'clock in the morning, buy 20 of his cards and not wait to get them there. You buy 20 of them. They go in your collection. That night, he goes off. You bought his cards for $100 each, right? You bought 10 of them. Now they're worth $120 each.
So that's how the market moves. Just
the market
literally based off the latest game.
By the latest game, the trades, free agency.
Do you know how big this industry is now? Meaning, like, how many people are trading these things? Because that's what you have to have. You have to have a marketplace where there's demand. So obviously, there's a ton of demand. Like, how many people in America are collecting trading cards now?
A lot, bro.
All right, we got to do better than a lot. But.
Over, like, just it's a crazy number. Just think about it this way: I bought that Luka Doncic card in February for $300.
What's it trading at now? $1,100.
$1,700.
And how many of these bad boys did you buy? That's not doing much for me, man. I need some more. I need some details here.
I bought 3 of them.
All right. Yeah. So not like too many.
No,
I thought you were going to be like, I'm sitting on like $1 million.
I wish. But, now they're going for $1,700. But you got to think about it also. The season didn't even start.
So you
He has the best odds next year to win MVP.
You are evaluating. This is very cool.
This is the stock market for individual basketball players.
And the way that you are evaluating the stock market is you are trying to figure out who's going to perform the best. It is literally like, who's going to win the championship this year? Yeah. That's what people ask on TV. Or who's going to win the MVP this year? Yeah. Okay, now you take it to the next level and you can make money off it, not just by gambling in Vegas.
No.
You do it by, okay, he's got X number of cards out there. I can buy some of these, which is my next question. Do the card companies run this such that, like, there's 500 players in the NBA, whatever it is, 450, 500. Yeah. When they make cards at the beginning of the year, they may make a supply of, I'm just going to make up numbers right now. They're not real, but just bear with me. Maybe they make 10 cards of LeBron James, but they make 1,000 cards of the guy on the end of the bench for the Rockets. Is that how they do it? And then there's just less, like, in addition to the demand of course you want a LeBron James card over that guy, like, there's also less supply of it, so it drives the price up?
I'm not 100% sure on each individual, but there are different cards. So this is a prism card, right?
Okay,
now there's about 10 to 20 different types of prisms. You have a prism orange, you have a pink ice one. Pink ice, Luka Doncic PSA 10 could be going for maybe $35,000 right
And
now.
What's the difference?
The difference is now pink ice is probably limited. There might be only 99 of those out there. 99 of the card, but then also you have to think about the grade. Like, there might be, thousands and thousands of a Panini Prism Luka Doncic card rookie year, but there might only be a certain supply of Gem Mint 10s.
That's a better way to look at it, how you're doing it. You're not looking at the entire market. You're looking a little more granular, and you're like, okay, how many of this type of card is there for this guy?
And PSA, they do the population for you. So when you're sending in, me and Perk probably sent in, 2,000, 3,000 cards in the last month, and we're getting all those graded. So all of those grades, like, say we had, 150 Zions, and 100 came back Gem Mint 10s, and the rest came back Gem Mint 9s. So now that's going into their population report of, this type of card, and it's going to be how many 10s are out there that they've graded, so you can also see the population report. If there's, John Morant Prism cards and only there's 10,000 out there and only 100 of them are graded Gem Mint 10s, well, now the Gem Mint 10s just went for higher money, know? Like, nowadays.
They grade them on how good condition there is, though, too. Like, when you gave me those 4 things, you said the corners and what else?
It's the corners, the condition, and then the centering of the print. So back then when they were printing 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan cards, they couldn't print enough of them. You had the card looking, the Michael Jordan piece was over here. Because they were just printing so many.
So so there's 2 levels to it when you send in the grade. The first thing they do is authenticate that it's real and not what you made in your garage.
Yeah, exactly.
The second level, though, is like that Michael Jordan example you just gave. They may be getting a lot of cards that are real, but to your point, they were fucked up versions of it. Yeah. So then that takes away all the value, pretty much.
The grades can come back 1 through 10, but older cards that are less than, I would say, 2000s and lower, or somewhere around the 2003 mark and lower. LeBron and Kendrick Perkins, they were in the same draft class.
03 draft class, baby.
So you could get a LeBron card an 03 and it's graded a 7 or a 6 or a 7. That's still going for $500-600. You get a Gem Mint 10, the price goes up to thousands. I have my father, when he was 10 years old, he was buying 1969, basketball Topps cards that, we have a Lou Alcindor, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robinson. We have the whole 1969 class. Yeah. So like those cards, those are vintage cards.
He owns all them right now.
Yeah, we got those. We're getting those graded. So and then me and Perk, we invested our money into buying current guys, thinking that they're gonna, perform well, and it's the stock market, Think about it. Chris Paul, I don't want to give too much information away, but Chris Paul got traded to the Suns, right? Mm-hmm. Now, whose stock on that team just went up? He's a 3rd-year player, DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a big fan of him. His card, I bought a PSA 10 card. I think it was $90. PSA 10, Panini Prism, DeAndre Ayton at $90. Now,
by the way, I'm going to stick, I just want to make sure I say this for the listeners out there. I'm going to stick all this information in the show notes after with links. I'll let you give me everything so people can go on and follow some of this because you're really granular with it. I love it.
Yeah, no, if anybody's got questions or they collect, I'd love to just talk about the hobby and everything. So, DeAndre Ayton, when I bought his card, it was $90. Now, I think last sold on Star Stock was $155, and maybe you could get it right now for like $200. But think about it, they haven't played yet.
No.
Chris Paul's on there. We saw what Chris Paul did with Oklahoma City last year.
Amazing.
And people weren't even expecting them to get into the playoffs.
They said he was like over the hump and or over the hill. And
unreal. So I'm real excited to see what they do there. And I'm a big Cam Reddish fan. I love Duke. And everybody's very high on Zion and R.J. Barrett. I love those guys. I'm a big Cam Reddish fan.
He has to grow into his body. That's his big thing. He's like, still 20 years old?
Yeah, no, Cam's like 20, 21 maybe. Not even maybe, I don't think.
What do you like about his game?
He's a scorer, man. He's a 6'9". He can get to the basket. He's got a pure shot. He could shoot the three. I mean, he's to me, and even other people are saying this when he was in college, he's the most pure scorer out of Zion and R.J. Barrett. He was picked, I believe, top 10 in that.
Yeah, he was number 8, I think.
Yeah. So I'm a big Cam Reddish fan, and I think he's going to do really well with this year and then going into next year too.
He reminds me of Ingram a little bit.
Ingram, yeah.
And Ingram took a while.
Yeah.
To kind of get. I mean, he was a baby when he came into the league,
exactly,
but it took him 3-4 years to really where you start to see it come together.
Now look at him now. He's a 25, 26 point scorer a game, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
Speak about the Pelicans, Lonzo Ball, and now you got LaMelo Ball just got drafted.
Yeah.
What are your? You have any thoughts on him?
My thoughts on them. For one thing, I'm very excited to see LeVar Ball deal with Michael Jordan's owned franchise. Not that he's been a successful owner as far as like what's happening on the floor. He hasn't been. But I can't wait for the first LeVar antics and to see if like we get old Mike coming out of his shadow saying, "Shut the fuck up, kid."
Yeah.
But I mean, look, that kid can play. I remember watching videos of him when he was like 14.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I know it's easy to hate on him, but like...
But at that point, like, growing up in North Jersey and the tri-state area, we got great competition.
Yeah. Well, you were a great player.
I was all right.
Yeah. Don't hold that back. You played in college, right?
Yeah, I played at William Patterson for a couple of years, and it was a great time. But growing up in North Jersey and playing, basketball, football, those are our sports, and we're definitely known for wrestling too in tri-state area. So, but not to take anything away. I mean, the kid was shooting from half court.
Yeah.
But like,
remember
also,
that pull up?
Yeah, but also he was scoring 90 a game.
Yeah.
Like Chino Hills, like who are they really playing against? When they got older, he transferred and
Chino Hills was the high school in California.
Yeah, that they started at. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're probably playing decent competition, but nothing like we got the number 1 league here, in with St. Anthony's that closed down, St. Benedict's, the Patrick School now.
Oh, dude,
like,
remember those guys?
Yeah, I mean
Corey Stokes.
Oh yeah,
Corey Fisher.
Those
were guys that went to Nova.
Villanova, yeah.
Carl Anthony Towns is from up there.
Yeah, me and Carl Anthony played on the same organization with Sports University.
Oh, I was going to say, he didn't play for the Roadrunners, did he?
No, he was a year younger than me.
Got it.
Yeah. Carl Anthony, he's going to be a great player. He is a great player.
Yeah.
But, Corey Stokes, I'm really close with. Chaz played with him.
You still talk with him?
Yeah.
He was, some people won't know, but he was a great shooter. He came to Villanova.
Oh, yeah.
But he kind of played the team role all 4 years and then didn't turn it into a career. But dude could play.
That's that, Jay Wright system. Jay Wright has a great thing going with Villanova, and he's a great coach.
Yeah.
And another guy that I like from Villanova is Mikhail Bridges that's on the Suns.
Yeah, dude.
People, don't invest into him. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you want them invested in them because you're already invested,
Exactly,
you motherfucker.
yeah. You're right. No, but Mikhail Bridges is good, and but I could talk basketball and sports cards all day.
But with the trading cards, though, because my mind is spinning on this right now.
Yeah.
Are you looking, like, when someone's in the stock market, or let's say they're on StockX trading sneakers, because I've talked to people who've been doing that for a long time, they're looking at prices all day.
Yeah.
It's like they're Robin Hood.
Shout out to my guy Scott from Star Stock, because when they had reached out, like I said, I had my partnership with PSA. Mm-hmm. We, me and Perk did a video with them, and great collaboration. So when we had posted that, Kendrick and I are in the sports card industry, a bunch of companies had reached out, Star Stock, and those guys, they build a great platform. Yeah. And I mean, you got to check out their website.
Yeah, we got it up right there.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. It's great.
So you can do everything on here.
Could go on
you're trading, you're selling.
You could buy raw cards. You could buy graded cards. I'm buying cards on there for $3.
Well, let me ask a question there. That's something I'm not entirely sure of. When you're trading, it's like the stock market in the sense that if that Morant card sold for, let's say, $100 yesterday, and now it's put up by the new owner for bids starting at 120 or something like that, then someone buys it for 125. Mm-hmm. Is the marketplace now automatically at 125 everywhere, or is it just where they trade? Because I see here, if you look at the second tab right behind you on the screen up there. Oh. Sorry. I have that up right there. There's also like just the straight up selling. So my question is, are there private sales where you don't know the price that it went for? Meaning,
no, because they're taking, I believe they're taking the API from eBay and tracking the sales from there.
Wow, so it's all in. It is literally like the New York stock market.
It is. So if you go on there, if you go on there and you see, what cards are going for, like a raw card. Mm-hmm. My buddy was buying Michael Porter Jr. that plays for the Denver Nuggets, his base Prism card for I think $1.50 last year. Now if you look it up, he made a good amount of money because I think he bought 100 of them.
Yeah, because he also, Michael Porter Jr. was out the whole year, right?
Exactly.
And then
he was out in college. Yeah. He came into the league. He played a little bit, but he was out for a long period of time.
Problem.
Yeah. And then he went off in the bubble a couple games, and his stock went through the roof.
Yeah. So right behind you, he's got. How about you walk people through this so I don't say anything wrong? Go ahead. So
a Star Stock A is a raw card, and they have looked at it where they believe that it's going to grade from a PSA or a Beckett standpoint. It's going to grade well. Very well.
So it hasn't been graded yet.
No, but you could go to the PSA 10. Now put your mouse under. No, go up a little bit.
Right there?
Yes. So now see last sale for $260.
Oh shit.
But there's 8 for sale for $495.
Wow.
Now go back to the Star Stock A.
Didn't that one, I feel like that price just changed too while we were doing it.
Well, now go back to put your mouse on Star Stock A. To your left.
Right there?
No, left. Down a little bit.
Down?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So now a raw
That's
card,
what I was looking at.
A raw card, you could buy 20 of them for sale for $80. But now you have to send them into PSA to get graded. You can also sell raw cards. You can keep them in your collection. You're buying 20 of them for $80. He might have, a great first 2 weeks. They could go up a raw card to $120.
So could you take a gamble on the card itself, meaning raw cards going for $80. You see that a PSA graded one is going for $250. And first of all, can you see who's selling it to you, or is it closed marketplace? You don't know who's selling on the other side.
I believe it's closed marketplace.
Okay, so you can't really guess then, like, oh, this user's got a great history. You can't bet on that. But can you bet and be like, all right,
I'm not 100% sure on that.
We'll check that after. Yeah. But let me buy this card for $80 and then get it graded and see if it gets graded. Wow.
You could definitely do that. But then there's some people like...
What if it gets a bad grade, though? Can you lose value off the 80?
If it, right now with the market so high, and the demand of so high, back then PSA 10s were the card that you wanted. Like a 10, the grade was what you wanted. So you either wanted to buy them, sell them, whatever. Now that everybody and their whole families in the card industry. So now a 9 is a 10, and a 10 is an 11. You know what I mean? So, and you even see 8s that are being sold for good price, you know?
And this was, to be clear, this was heating up in like end of 2018 into 2019, throughout 2019. This isn't just like a COVID thing. Like this was happening before, but COVID definitely exploded it.
COVID took it over the Mount Everest.
Got it.
Literally, if that makes sense.
Why do you think that is, besides an obvious reason? People are at home. They're looking for something to bet on, especially when there wasn't sports.
Yeah,
it was like another market.
Yeah, stock market.
And they have time
down
on their hands.
Yeah. People were finding, old cards in their basement and saying, "Oh, I think could be worth something." But no matter what, you got to get your cards graded by PSA. Like no matter what, because it's just the value of the card, whether it's from 1990 or 2019, the value is going to go up. You see it. You could buy a raw card for $80, but a PSA 10 is for sale for $495.
So basically, they're the Moody's graders. So Moody's is like, they're like the big S&P grader. Like they rate stocks and bonds and stuff. So they rate companies. So you're saying they're pretty much, to draw a parallel, PSA is the standard in that way. So if you get a AAA rating from Moody's or whatever, that means your bond is great if you're Microsoft or whoever you are. I don't think their bonds are too great right now. I'm not sure about that, but we'll check it. But on this end, that's pretty much the same stamp of approval, but in the sports car market. If you're getting PSA, AAA, like, all right.
Yeah. If you're getting PSA 10s, and you're buying the right guys, you're in good hands.
And so you guys started this. This was something you had been doing for a while on your end, like kind of learning about how this works and all that. But then COVID, you and Perk officially opened up the company. What's the name of the company?
So there's no company in a way.
It's like an LLC kind of deal.
Yeah. But we invest a lot into the cards. We invest into grading the cards because that costs money. That it takes time to send them out the cards to get back.
How much does it cost?
I can't tell you.
Really?
No, because we have some special. Yeah. We got a great thing going on with that. So,
but you send a lot at a time.
Yeah. Sometimes we send 200. Sometimes we send 1,000. So, but with the with NBA starting in the next 2-3 weeks, the market is going to explode.
Yeah.
Gary Vee put something out, and I know that's you love Gary Vee, so
I like Gary Vee.
Yeah. No,
he's a lot, but he's dude. He was on this. I mean, he was on this a while ago.
I know. And
a couple years ago.
Yeah. So what he even said, he's like, if you think the trading card market is hot now, just wait for another month. When the season back opens and you got guys playing, and you got to think about it also. When this 2019 it was booming, right? But then pandemic really took it up. Now you got to think about it. We didn't see Steph Curry play. We didn't see Trae Young play, and his in the bubble we're talking about. So now these guys are going to be back. Trades, free agency, draft picks. Now you got another whole draft class coming in. So it's a very exciting time for an NBA fan, a sports card, collector. I mean, I could go on and on.
So your partnership is pretty much like some guys open up a venture capital firm, other guys open up, a stock buying firm literally for their family office or something like that, and you're opening up a card buying firm.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're going to be starting doing breaks. So basically what a break is, you buy a box for X amount, but then people come enter the contest of the break, and they pay for a slot. So it could be 10 to 15 slots, and say if it could be random sometimes, or you could pay a little bit extra to get a specific team. So say we're doing a box break for a 2019 Panini Prism, right?
You just don't know who it's going to be.
But you're like, I want the Memphis Grizzlies because I want to see if I can get a Ja Morant card. So you're paying X amount of dollars to be in that one slot.
Oh, it's like little niches. Yeah. Wow.
So now I'm open. Now we're going live on Instagram. We haven't went live yet, but we're going to start going live on. We just got the Break Nation is our Instagram handle. So
I like that.
Yeah, Break Nation. And, we're going to be ripping boxes. And so basically, you got Memphis Grizzlies. We open up all the cards. You could get 2 Ja Morants. You could get no Ja Morants. But, we're sending you all the cards after that. If you hit this card, that all the other cards in there, this one card pays for your slot. You know what I mean? But it could be this card. It could be a Ja Morant silver, which is going for double the amount of this card.
Wow.
But yet again, when we do the box breaks, it's all raw cards. So, when we send them to you, that's when, we're going to have, people, send them into the PSA or, wherever they get them graded. And, then we go from there. But our thing is, we're putting a lot of money into the trading cards. And we love it. I mean, Perk's talking about basketball all day, and me and Perk talk all day. So I mean, it just it makes a lot of sense.
It's yet another market that is exploding during COVID. Just like you have the big winners and the big losers. I mean, we're hitting on it, but this is obviously a huge winner where it just went to the next level, as you pointed out. But do you worry about the long-term effect of sports here? And the reason I ask that is because this market is completely dependent on the fact that these leagues and specifically the players within them have attention. And that's not something I've really ever had to ask before. I mean, this, especially in America, but around the world, people love sports. It's a great escape. But it's not a normal time right now. And that's helped this market because people are still approaching it with the way they approached sports before COVID when it comes to how they value this stuff. But we're not seeing the same attention on watching the games. People aren't as interested. And I know that a lot of that has to do with the fact that, hey, the NBA basically played in a gym that was less than Lifetime Athletic in the Sky from New York. I mean, it was literally like worse than that gym where they had to finish their season in there. So it's like kind of real, but kind of not. And then you look at the NFL, most of the games are played in front of few, if any, fans. And there's just a lack of a vibe. And like when I've talked to a lot of people, they're not watching it. I mean, it's hard for me to pay attention to games right now. And so my question is, I think that will change after COVID, like when people are back to being in the stands again and it's more natural, there's tailgates, there's everything going on and it becomes a social event. But do you worry about, well, maybe it won't? And
will
then
I lose my investment?
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely thought about that, but I think, see, the one thing that I think of is, and this year is so crazy, pandemic, politics, all these other things going on. Politics had a part in the ratings in the NBA as well, just like we saw years ago that the NFL did, with politics and stuff like that. So, the one thing that isn't going to change is that basketball is not going anywhere. It's starting up in 3 weeks and it's going to be playing every year, So I do think that it could possibly come down a little bit within the next year, 2 years and that, but I mean, it's honestly too much fun, and it's something that I love, and I think other people in the hobby feel that way because the hobby's always been around, but yes, it hasn't been nothing to what it has been, now this year. But
are you guys bringing other players into this to invest as well? Like, is there a lot of interest around that?
There is. Well, Kevin Durant invested in Star Stock. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When did he do that?
I think it just came out a couple of days ago.
So that's with his company with Kleiman, right?
Yeah, we're Kleiman and I believe AJ.
Vaynerchuk's on that deal?
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
But you also think about it, and you at home, my collection and Perk's collection, we got older cards graded. So a 19, I think it was 1960, 50 maybe, 19 around that time. We got a Bart Starr card graded. Everybody knows Bart Starr, right? Okay,
yeah.
You watch football.
Packers back in the day, baby.
So a Bart Starr, we got it graded. We're selling it for $30, $40.
Wait, what?
Exactly. So now you look up, some of these guys that are playing today.
Yeah.
Their raw cards are going for $20, $30, $40, $50.
How is Bart Starr going for $30, $40?
How is his stock going to go up?
they're not making Bart Starr cards. It's 50 years ago. He played for Lombardi, one of the greatest teams of all time.
I know, and I understand that. But in the collector's world, it's a little bit different. Especially the younger generation of the collectors. They want to see the cards that they're buying, their players do better.
So
play better.
How is your dad's collection of Lou Alcindor and Oscar Robertson worth anything then?
Well, I mean, the guys in the Hall of Fame, the guys that are
Bart Starr's in the Hall of Fame.
Football's a little bit different, but also it's who's collecting Bart Starr that's not 50 years or younger.
But again, like who's
you
doing
have
like,
to be a Bart Starr,
Yeah, but you'd have to be a Lou Alcindor fan, or you'd have to be an Oscar Robertson fan. I mean, I wasn't alive when those guys played.
No.
But you know what it actually could be? I'm just thinking out loud here. And this kind of goes back to the marketing around sports, period. One of the reasons, like even if the NBA hasn't been the biggest league in the country, it never has been. I think it's firmly number 2 right now, but it's never been bigger than the NFL.
No.
Their stars are paid the most because they're the most marketable, and it's by math and looks.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is there are 5 players that are on the floor at one time. There's 12 players on a team. You look at the NFL, there's 53 players on a roster. There's 22 players on the field at a given time, and 44 of them like legit play in the game.
Yeah.
Furthermore, the NBA players, the camera angles are closer up, and you can see their faces. The NFL players, they're behind helmets. We're healthy here, by the way. We're using hand sanitizer, I guess. This
That's
is like
from Charlie's Steakhouse, by the way.
Charlie's where?
Charlie's Steak in Orlando.
I feel like there's a million fucking steakhouses around this country called Charlie's Steakhouse. Like, how many Charlies are
Charlie
there?
makes good steak,
Do you even know a Charlie? I don't know any Charlies our age.
I got an Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, an Uncle Charlie. He's probably like 80 years old.
Nah, he's my uncle, but he's not, he's not.
Oh,
blood.
one of those kinds of uncles.
Yeah, Uncle
right.
Charlie.
Yeah, those are the best uncles. Anyway, back to it, though. You look at the NFL, literally the fact that their face is hidden, there's only so many guys that can be put on that brand ad, and there's only so many guys that actually, like, when they take the helmet off. Like, up in Florham Park, when C.J. Mosley signed, I think I was in Starbucks. He walks in. I knew who C.J. Mosley was. He was the best middle linebacker in the NFL. He just signed for $90 million. He walked into a Starbucks 2 miles from the facility that his new team trains at, fresh off all the press of ESPN and the internet going nuts that the Jets had signed this guy. Nobody knew who he was. Now, if LeBron James walks in, and that's an extreme example, let's say if Russell Westbrook walks in, or Paul George, or someone like that, people know who they are because they can see their face.
Yeah.
So maybe part of it is, like with the NBA, there's more of that individual marketability rather than the NFL, where there's less of it unless you're like, I think you made the point earlier, like Tom Brady or a big diva wide receiver or something like that.
It's tough with the NFL, unless you're throwing touchdowns or catching touchdowns, it's hard to market with some of the guys. Yeah. But in the trading card world, it's like, I want to see the card that I'm investing in, that stock go up. So it's like, I don't want to use the term, but think about Kobe Bryant. When Kobe Bryant passed away, his cards went through the roof, and now,
demand.
Yeah, exactly. So now, his cards can still go up and fluctuate a little bit, but nothing like, a Zion Williamson who's going into his second year in the league and, has, could play for the next 15, 20 years. Luka Doncic, he's got the best odds to win MVP next year. His cards could go up 1,000%. Yeah. Like the market and the demand is out of this world. And I truly believe that it's not going to go anywhere. I think it'll, just like any other market, it'll take a little bit of a dip, but I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, you're holding them long term. Yeah, you can tell.
But some of them are, we're flipping some of them here, some of them there, but it's the guys that you really believe in. And I mean, Luka, everybody's on Luka, but
yeah, so I was a lot of his.
Yeah, I was talking about Luka before he got drafted. I said this guy's going to be, just the way he plays the game, the way he carries himself. I mean, he's got a good thing going.
Yeah, watching him play is almost like watching a soccer player play basketball.
Yeah.
He's just, he's got that total ingenuity to his game between his footwork and the smoothness, how he glides down the court.
Not the fastest guy, not the strongest.
Exactly.
He's just, but LeBron said it earlier, a couple days ago. He's like, when I was signing with, when I was doing my deal with Nike recently, and I was going to have Team LeBron under Nike, he's like, my first guy, I wanted Luka.
Yeah.
But
he's made good on that bet.
Yeah.
Right away, pretty much.
Mark Cuban said, he's like, if it came between my wife and Luka, he's like, I'm getting a divorce.
Mark Cuban's all about his team, man.
Oh yeah, no,
I vaguely believe him.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, man. It really is. But
how are you leveraging your own network with this? Because like that's the other thing. Like you keep on talking about Kendrick because he's your partner in this, and like you do all the work for him as his manager. But you got your own big ass network here. Like, talk about real quick for some context. Who are some of the guys you've worked with in the past? Talk about some of your work in like the influencer sphere. I know you got a lot of hooks there. Like, have you been? And the second level to it is, have you been going to some of these people to try to get them in on this, as far as like whether that be investing directly in your company or investing in trading itself, just to get people to the space? Like what's been your strategy there on your side? No,
that's a great question. And my network with athletes and influencers is probably last 4 or 5 years of influencer wise, between fitness and models and just influencers on let's cut that out, but
we're not cutting that out.
But just influencers on Instagram, it's probably a range from 50,000 followers to 10 million followers, with probably over 200 influencers.
And how'd you build those relationships?
I was at a different agency than, before I started my agency, A1A Media, I was at a different agency. And when I was working with them, we were, this is when influencer marketing just had kind of, came about in a way. And this is 5 years ago. We're in 2020 now, and this was 2015 when Instagram just started 3 years before that. So now people were, I could get paid to post, and if I have X amount of views, and I could create this kind of content, and things like of that source. That's when I was like, okay, the network of influencers and to grow a network. What's one thing that when you're reaching out to somebody you want to do business with, you feel as if you want to bring value to them. So my approach was, hey, listen, this is what I could do. Would love to have a conversation with you, talk about, your goals and your platform, your Instagram, your social media pages, and see where your goals are for the next year or two, because obviously I want people in my network that are going to be putting out good content and being an influence in their space, whether it's fitness or music or fashion, whatever it is. I want to work with people that, bring a value to me. And of course, I'm bringing a value to them, whether it's helping them with social media, building a website, endorsement opportunities, brand opportunities to paid for posts on Instagram. Because, when you're an influencer and you're posting on Instagram, you would love to work with, a great company that, whether it's a startup or whether it's an established company that's going to be, paying you to create the content. Not every influencer can go out there and just, have a, create a following and then also create a product or something to sell. It's very tough. But you align yourself with the right brands and businesses that your niche is in to create the content and also have the influence in that market.
But you brought an existing network in some ways to that already, because I've talked about it on this show before. Yeah. You've had a very big, relatively for someone who hasn't been an influencer before or something like that. You have a very big Instagram following. It's like what, 50, 60,000?
Yeah, about 50, 60,000.
And you've had that for a while.
Yeah.
So tell people how you built that at the beginning.
This was going back probably 2015 and 16, where I was in the gym. I was everything that working out, fitness was. Like I did it. I was in the gym twice a day.
Were you a fitness influencer? Were you one of those chase all your dreams, get after it, man?
I the motivational stuff, the fitness thing, I love doing it, for me, and I was training, personal training at one point, but it just, I kind of saw myself doing different things and having a different vision for myself, not knocking anybody in that world, but for me personally, I saw, a different path. and I thought it was great, and I loved it. But that's how I kind of grew a following years ago. I was posting at least once a day, and I was in the gym. My body looked a little bit different than it was now, but it was something that I loved, and I was young too, so it definitely it was a lot of fun.
But you were telling me about the trends earlier in the days. I think you even said it was back farther than that, like maybe like 2013, 2014, where people would just go in and comment on like Kim Kardashian's post and then do like for like and stuff.
Well, for like things to like grow a following, it was, Instagram, the algorithm changed so much from when it first started. You even talked about LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Think about how hard, Instagram's already a tough crowd, right? So you talked about LinkedIn before, and you used to see people with 50,000 views go to 4,000 views now. Back then, you were able to, on Instagram, a way of, I would say maybe tricking the algorithm to have your post show up more often than other people's posts. Now it's super hard.
How would you do that?
You would be active on it 24/7. You're liking, thousands of photos a day. You're commenting on people. I thought about it as if, okay, this is my platform on Instagram. Now, some people think about like, okay, how do I market my Instagram page? Well, no. How do you market your Instagram page inside of Instagram? How do I get 10,000 people to see my Instagram page? Never mind in person. You got some people going out there like, hey, follow my Instagram page. Or, you're on a podcast and, hey, check us out. But at the end of the day, like, how many percentage of people do you think are actually going to watch this podcast and then go to your Instagram page?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very hard that way, especially back then.
Yeah.
You had to take advantage of, I think I had 10,000 followers or, even 1,000 followers then when it was a point of like, you have 1,000 followers?
Yeah.
1,000 followers then was like 100K now, where that was 6-7 years ago.
When did you find out about Instagram?
2012.
So like right when it came out.
Yeah, I was actually was it 2011 or 12? When did Instagram start?
Either one's a good answer because that was very early.
Yeah. I think it was the 11 or 12, and I remember I was visiting my uncle down in Las Vegas, and I think it was like spring break or something like that, and I was down there for, no, not even spring break. It was like a month I was down there. And people were texting me or saying something like, and I was even late to the Facebook party because I was still on MySpace. I was like, MySpace.
You were on MySpace in like 2011, 2012?
No, not that. But I was late to the Facebook party.
Yeah.
MySpace ended at like, maybe 2007, 6. Yeah. So, but I loved MySpace. I thought it was awesome. You could put a song up there. You could, you got top friends. You whatever you were doing, it was like you could customize your platform or your profile in a way.
Yeah.
But then when I created Instagram, I remember I was in Las Vegas and I just started posting a couple times. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And you get 40 followers. And, sometimes you're following people you don't even know, but then you start to meet them on Instagram. But now it's like, now people are following people, they have no idea who they are because they're putting out the content of either whether it's educational, inspirational, or it's just something that they want to see, So back then, it was more or less of like, I'm going to put anything out there. It was more, back then when they first started, it was more of the approach that you always talk about. That you always say, well, no, fuck what people care. Fuck, put whatever you want out there. Because if it's what you like and, people are going to watch it because it's good.
Yeah.
Obviously create content that's great, but it's got to be what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, back then it was awesome.
So you're basically just in there living in comment sections.
Oh yeah, I was
sending DMs left and right.
It was just,
and then
people were looking at my posts and my videos back then. They were like, wow, this guy's in the gym, and this guy it was all because I was posting every day.
Yeah, and there were a lot less fitness influencers.
Yeah, it was, but there was a lot less people that were so active on Instagram than there was today. Yeah. You go anywhere you go now. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm on the phone. I'm on Instagram. Yeah. And people are on Instagram more than they're in their text messages.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's true. Sometimes I only communicate with people through Instagram because it's like you text them and they might not answer. And some people they know that I'm like that too because if they hit me up on Instagram, I might answer faster than a text message.
Instagram's effectively getting someone's phone number now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's your IG?
Yeah.
Like that's what people do. So you've had this established then for years, whether it was like 2013, 2014, somewhere for a long time.
Well, that's when I was growing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was grown by what, like 2016, 2017, you were in the 40s or something like that?
No, probably like 15, I was in the 30s. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess
Okay.
yeah, you're right.
So now looking at your own businesses, like you have a network of some established people in there too. And you've already been able to build that into, like, for one thing, when you're DMing all these people working at your previous agency, there's also like a level of, oh, okay, like this guy's kind of a micro influencer hitting me up. It's not just some schmo with like 500 followers, right? So you're getting in front of more people. And then who were some of the people that you worked with as a result of that? Let's start there.
Well, even before that, I'll definitely get into that. But even before that, I know people now that when I had contacted them, they had 10,000 followers, 8,000 followers, 20,000 followers. Now they have 200,000, 300, 400,000. So when I had established a relationship with them, they weren't where they are now. So that's why I was like, okay, I like what this person's putting out and content-wise. They're in this niche. Okay, let me reach out to them. See just who they are as a person. It's literally an introductory call to seeing who, what they are, what they're about, what kind of content they're putting out there and what their goals are. Yeah. At the end of the day, if they're in the music industry and I'm working with X, Y, and different brands, and I'm saying, well, okay, this could align with them. They're in the music industry. I got a headphone company. Okay, let's put them and them together. Okay, they want to pay you X amount because you're posting this content, you're in the studio making music, put these headphones on, we'll create this piece of content, you got to tag them, X, Y, and Z. Like that's kind of how I thought about it. And I didn't want to just be in one niche. I didn't want to just be in the influencer, in the fitness world or in the music world. I kind of wanted to have, a diverse of a network. People that I worked with over the past couple of years, obviously Kendrick Perkins, did with stuff like my brother works with Kevin Garnett, Ray Lewis, worked with Lawrence Taylor, Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis.
How's
he doing?
Big Baby's awesome. He's awesome.
Probably, by the way, one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life of all time was him on the private jet.
Oh.
With all the weed. What was he eating?
I don't remember.
Like burgers or something?
Yeah.
He was just like licking his fingers.
But he had like 2 bags full of money.
Yeah, the money and the weed.
Of weed. Yeah, he just... No, it was... That was... I remember when that came...
That was one of the
picture
funniest
came
things
out,
I've ever seen.
I almost dropped my phone. I'm like, oh, man. No. Damn it.
Wasn't he like under investigation for something small or something at the time?
But I think he had a small role in Shameless in the past year.
Really?
Yeah. Obviously, he's playing the big 3 for the past couple years.
Yeah.
But who else? My buddy that plays on the Jets, Bennett Jackson.
Okay.
Who else have I worked with? Hassan Whiteside. He's on the...
Oh, yeah.
He just got signed by the Kings now.
He's a character.
Yeah. No, Hassan's awesome. And then influencers-wise, one of my good friends, Remy Boy Monty.
How's Monty doing?
Monty's doing great. Monty's the best, man. That's been my guy for probably good 5 years now. No,
Jersey
matter of fact,
guy.
probably like 4 years. It was kind of like very similar to Perk, where we just kind of hit it off and built a great friendship.
How'd you do that though? Did you get introduced to him?
So one of his best friends and was working security, Chris. Me and Chris had known each other through one of my good friends, Kumar Davis. Me and Kumar grew up.
Oh, I know Kumar.
You know Kumar. Yeah.
Yep.
Me and Kumar grew up, training, playing sports together. And then, when I had met Chris, I was probably around 15, like maybe like 16 years old. And then, Chris knew what I was doing in the marketing and social media world. And, me and Chris got in contact and he said, listen, I want you to, sit down with Monty and just introduce yourself. And, we had, a great meeting. And, from there, we just, he literally told me, he's like, listen, Luke, you don't have to go home. You stay with us whenever you want. You know what I mean? So, me and Monty just built a great relationship. And it's, we work together in a couple of different things. And I've been telling him about the trading cards. So
what's he say about that?
he didn't understand it at first. He was like, "What do you mean trading cards?" He's like, you sell them like for how much? He's like, "Wait, you bought this for this?" It's like, wow, you know. So, but he's gonna be investing soon, and you know, we'll be doing a lot of great things with Mont. So, he's got some music coming out soon, and but you know, that's my boy, that's my man.
This is actually a really good place to bring this in, but you've even used the word, and we all use it because it's like the simple buzzword to go to, but you keep on talking about network and networking. Mm-hmm. There's an aspect to which, like, especially when you're doing it on DMs on Instagram and talking with people you never talk to, yes, that's kind of what it is because you're not face to face in that way. Yeah. But you are a relationship builder. And I like that because everyone likes to talk about, oh, I got this guy in my network, oh, I got that guy, like they actually know these people, when in reality, they're just going after people for transactional reasons only. And they don't really actually have that, like, hey, you know, I just take his call at like 11 o'clock at night and we talk about whatever the fuck. Right. You know, and you, and I hope the point is coming across enough, this is what you've done with guys like Monty. This is how you've gotten into those circles. Like Kendrick, you obviously have the relationship with Kevin Garnett before then, and so he introduces you to him. But like how you get the relationship with Kevin Garnett and actually building up and building that trust on a guy who's, I mean, he is intense. Oh, yeah. You know, you and your brother going in there and doing that. And so when I look at some of the diversity of your relationships too, like you're all over from working with the guys who, you know, run the Wall Street Bank to working with athletes and entertainers to working with guys who run big businesses that are private. And there is an incredible need to be able to be a true chameleon to the situation and be able to understand exactly how people develop trust in other people. And working with you and Monty a little bit on the project we did and talking with him, first of all, he's awesome. Yeah. He's a great dude. But you and Monty come from such a different reality. Yeah. And like even you and Big Chris, who you got the original intro through Kumar with, I guess because you knew Chris a little bit too, like all you guys, you come from totally different realities. And yet, you know, the trust that guys like that have in you speaks to your ability to understand that. Mm-hmm. And then understand like exactly where these guys are coming from all the time. And I guess my point is the empathy you have to have in doing that is so real that it can't be networking. It's not like, oh, I know this guy now. Oh, I know Chris. I know Monty. No. It has to be like, yo, what's going on, man? Like, how are you? Like, what's up? Like it's before it's business or it could ever even get to that. It's like, these are my friends. These are my guys. This is who I ride with. And I've always been extremely struck by your ability to do that with so many different people. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's, I appreciate you for saying that. And for me, it's, you know, when I was growing up and playing sports and specifically basketball, you know, my dad would take me to the inner cities of, you know, Patterson, Newark, Jersey City. And, you know, no matter how much you spend the time in there, you know, I grew up in Wayne, but no matter how much you play basketball or sports or, you know, you never truly understand, you know, how people grow up, you know, in different cities. But I kind of saw things at a younger age where it made me kind of, you know, not question, but understand a little bit better. So I kind of had that sympathy. I kind of had that understanding where, you know, we don't come from the same world, even if it's 10 minutes away, 20 minutes away. Like, it's just, it's not.
That's the craziest part.
It is.
It's like right there,
yeah.
too. You know?
It's 20 minutes, whatever time frame it is, it's two different worlds. You know, so for me, I just kind of, you know, I go back to what I said before. I just always was trying to just be myself. You know, my dad says that all the time. He's like, you know, Luke, he's gonna be Luke. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what. So, but I just always was trying to be myself and, you know, be a friend. But then also, if we're trying to do business together, you know, bring value. You know, I believe in, you know, if you could bring value to the table and you could present opportunities, you know, they also have a bring of value to you too. So, but that's, you know, that's business. You know what I mean? If I'm bringing you a business opportunity, you obviously have some type of value that I'm looking at, you know, and vice versa. So whether it's, you know, leveraging my network to expand the opportunity or to formulate a business partnership with you and we're working on, you know, different ventures. You know, for me, I just kind of, I never wanted to put myself in other people's shoes in a bad way, but I always wanted to just understand where they come from, maybe why they think the way they think, and say, hey, listen, like, okay, let's think about this, and this is why, this opportunity came about, or in other ways. Like, I kind of just had that understanding at a younger age, and just always kind of, kept it close to me.
But you're friends with a lot of guys where that's not just where you started it, that was your intention. This is something that is definitely different about you than a lot of guys that work in the space you do. Because let's call a spade here. Yeah. You know this well. In the agency worlds, and then specifically like in the personal management worlds, there's a lot of scumbags. Yeah. There's a lot of guys reaching out for the dough. They just want to be around it. They want to be star fuckers. Yeah. That's what they are. You've never been that. Yeah. You are somebody who, and I could even say this about Kendrick, where you kind of did some social for him pretty quick, but you're friends with these guys. Yeah. And then eventually you're so passive on it. Like, there are some guys that to this day you don't do any business with. I'm not going to name names. Where like you talk with them 5 times a week and you don't care because like you like knowing them. You like what they're about. You see them as people. And you don't push that topic. Like, you don't go to people where, a lot of these guys are like, all right, where do I start turning this from? All right, I met this person and we're hanging out a lot and now let's talk business. You're not really you've never been the guy who like goes to that or is even comfortable with that. And what ends up happening is a lot of these guys then come to you very naturally after time, I might add. It's very rarely it seems right away, though you can correct me if I'm wrong. They come to you after time and they're like, hey, Luke, like, so-and-so, can you do some work on that for me? Mm-hmm. And then it just kind of turns into your point, like the value add. Right.
Yeah, no, it definitely just, I always just wanted to, if I'm genuinely friends with you, I'm friends with you, in a genuine way. I really never thought about it where, I should be friends with this person because they do X, Y, and Z, or they know this person, or I can use them to get to that person, If it happens like that, and I'm a very, kind of organic person where, if we're vibing, we're cool, then, we could continue that. But, there's a lot of people where, I meet them and we try to do business off the bat, but sometimes it just doesn't work. But to me, that doesn't mean I have to, not talk to that person or not be, stay in contact with them, because maybe 6 months down the road, they could contact me, or I can, hey, I remember, X, Y, and Z does this, or he works with this company. Maybe they could connect me, or I could connect them with somebody else that I know, and then we could, formulate a partnership there. But for me, it's I never looked at it as like, what can I get from that? Or, I always looked at it like, there's one thing in life where you have control of, or, it's time. So, you don't necessarily have control of it, but you have control of your time, of where you spend it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I took the time out of my day. You asked me to, hey, come down here. I'm like, listen, I got to go down there and see Julian and, see this whole setup, this thing, what he's got going on here is awesome. So I wanted to do this. I appreciate you asking me, as a friend to come down. But, for me, it's like I want to spend the time with the people that, I care about and we're friends in that way. But value-wise, like, I always wanted to just try to bring value or, to anybody that I'm working with or just friends with, And that definitely comes from, my father and helping, a lot of people in sports. And, it's just how he kind of raised me in a way, so.
Well, yeah, you are your father's son in a lot of ways, and people don't know what I'm talking about. But Luke and his brother Chaz, their dad, the legendary Bobby Cervino, is quite possibly the greatest connector anyone will ever know. Yeah. When I tell you that this, and you just brought it up, but he doesn't ask for anything in return. No. He has just, for the last 40 plus years, always found people in his quote unquote network of relationships. I'll add the second level to it, where it's like, oh, you would be great with this guy. Like, let's set that up. And there's nobody better and more genuine about it. And fuck, I ask, like, sometimes I'm like, I wish you would ask for something on some things, but he's like not about that at all. He's like, no, I just do this for fun. And he's got 15,000 people in his cell phone, and he's the guy. I mean, he's got the Bluetooth on all day. He's just always talking with people. And like, in a lot of ways, like, you and your dad are definitely different, like, in your personality.
Yeah.
But your approach to that, I can tell it's the same because the trust that these people put in you, and it's everyone. It's not just athletes and entertainers. Course, It's all these different people. Yeah. It comes from that place of like, oh, Luke just wants what's best for us. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean that's definitely came from my dad, and that's one thing that I love that I got from him. So I just love helping people and being around good people. It's everybody, no matter who it is, and everybody's been burned, and you just got to keep moving forward and keep staying positive. And just because one thing went wrong, or you feel as if one thing went wrong led to 10 things going wrong, you just have to keep moving forward. Staying positive and really just connecting with good people.
What about some of the guys in the past though that you've worked with that don't, it doesn't end well, and you don't have a relationship with them? What is it usually chalked up to, or is it just kind of different every time?
Well, I mean, I really can't say, because everybody that I've either have in my network, or there's not really a lot of people that, or even a few people that I don't talk to.
That's awesome.
Even if I haven't talked to them in a couple of years, so it's, you say, hey, do you know this person? And if I haven't talked to them for 2 years, I mean, they'll probably pick up the phone. So it's I don't know how to kind of explain it in that way, but I mean, I don't burn any bridges. Just because we have an argument, or just because we can't see eye to eye, doesn't mean that I want to not be friends with you. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, Julian, I don't even fucking like you, but no, I'm just kidding. No, but I really don't.
It's all good, brother. I know you got to lie on camera to be funny.
Yeah, no, exactly. What the fuck am I doing here?
That's cool. Yeah. But
no, seriously, like I don't like burning any bridges. I don't want to.
Somebody was saying, like, I don't burn any bridges, I just build them. I don't know who said it, but there's probably a lot of people who have said that. But it's true. Like, why even create something you can't come back to? I mean, people change too, for better or worse.
Some people burn their own bridges. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens. But there's people out there that just because one thing my dad told me is that people always have a good side, or good things to give. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you just got to find those good things, and sometimes you just got to, it could be the first time you meet them, or 6 months down the road, or 2 years down the road, where you keep in contact and just make sure they're okay and doing well, and maybe they they're on a new job in 2 years from now, and they're working with X, Y, and Z, and maybe they could connect you, or they're working at a job, they're looking for a job, and somebody in their field, and you can help them out, and just like my dad, just like you said about my dad, he doesn't ask for anything in return, but you just hope people will kind of full circle that, and give something in return, but not not in that type of way like we're asking, but it's just you want to help people out, you know what I mean? So but you're that way too, bro.
Thank you. That's and in a past life, that was sometimes the problem too, because when I was working as a banker, my job was to build relationships, and I did. But how many guys already have their long existing relationships, and they love to give me business, but why are they going to do that when they're best friends with their guy, and he's been doing it for him for 25 years? A lot. There's a lot of guys that were like that. And my whole thing was, I always met the people. I really fucked with the people. And so I'd have some guys in my network that, like, my relationships, where I knew I was never going to get their business. Yeah. And working in what I worked in, that's not what they want to hear. They're like, then don't talk with that person. Yeah. And I'd always be like, so wait, just because some dude can't give me his money, you want me to, like, not be friends with him? Or, like, not even that. It's not that they would ask that, but it's like, so if I want to go, if I want to spend time with this guy, you're telling me don't do that. Yeah. That never sat right with me. And so for you worked at a place before. Yeah. Now you got your own place. Yeah. Was there friction ever where, like, it was being pressed, like, hey, go make that relationship, turn it into money right now, and you'd have to be, in your head, you're going, no, like, it's not like that. I don't want to do that yet. And they're saying, okay, well, don't talk to that person anymore. And now, obviously, you don't have that voice telling you what to do. But was that something you encountered a lot?
That's a good point. And I think, you definitely encounter that when you're in sales and you're building relationships and, you have to generate revenue. Yeah, of course. But, there was different kinds of revenue that, or different types of revenue that we can generate. So, for me, I was building a network of influencers and athletes, but then also reaching out to brands and getting those brands to spend, X amount of dollars on with this amount of athletes, or even just one athlete, So at that point, I had to build relationships with businesses and brands, but then also attract the athletes that aligned with those brands. Mm-hmm. And, it was, hey, listen, spend less time on this or more time on that. And it was like, I see where you're talking about, but this is going to bring more value. Maybe not right off the bat, but in 6 months from now, the network or the value that it can bring is a lot better than X amount of dollars that's going to be coming in right now. But when you're running a business, you got to keep the lights on. You have to generate revenue now. Yeah, so I totally understood that, but it just
it's not a be all end all in the sense that you got to do all of one or all of the other, and that's not my point. It's not like, oh, I want to hang out with only people that I'm never going to do business. No, it's not like that. But there's also like, you don't know who those people know. You don't know how you make them feel too, and like you also genuinely get something out of it. You are legit friends with people. I mean, some of the best friends I ever made are people I met through business and never did business with. And to this day, I mean, they're going to come on this podcast, and that's a beautiful thing. And a lot of people, especially in this social media era where everything's all about what's the who follows you, who do you connect with, who are you friends with, people don't want to hear that, and they want to just be like, all right, people either do business with me or that's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely people out there. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah.
But it happens. It happens. And I just can't be one of those people.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I always say, I just want to be myself. And, the people that want to do business with me, the people that want to reach out and, see the new things that I'm doing, whether it's sports cards or, working with different athletes. And, LinkedIn is powerful. A ton of people reach out to me on LinkedIn, and, I try to get back to all of them and connect with as many people as I can. But it's, you got to use your time wisely, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you don't have someone saying you spend this amount of time on this or spend that amount of time on that. When you're an entrepreneur, you're creating your own schedule every day, weeks ahead, months ahead. So, you have to put in the time, and you have to set aside time for the things that you have to prioritize for, and the things that you think are going to, build revenue or, generate revenue for you.
Have you been looking at other businesses for the long term too? Like, because COVID created all these potential opportunities now, and also created some trends for down the line. Is whether it's new school or old school, is there any stuff that you've been like, that's interesting?
Yeah, I mean, real estate is definitely, a crazy market right now. I feel
you're going old school.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, real estate is crazy. And especially during this whole year of, with the pandemic, COVID, you got people moving out of New York City, the Mecca, where everything is, to, whether it's New Jersey or down in Florida. My buddy, his parents, they sold their house. They got $50,000 plus asking within 3-4 days on the market.
Where's their house?
Wanacue, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So, and that's 45 minutes west of New York. A New York family of 4 bought the house for 50 plus asking. You know what I mean? And it's, during this time, how are you going to say no? Especially if they're wanting to move. It just, definitely aligned with the time of the year and everything when they wanted to sell. But, I was looking at places down in Florida, and, I think it was 2 years ago, a lot sold for $50,000, and there's a house up there now for $400,000.
Yeah. It's not sustainable though.
It's not.
That's the beauty of it. So you're looking at it like price action's hot right now. Demand may very well be there long term because of COVID, and people don't want to be cooped up in cities as much.
In Florida, everything's open. They got a good governor down there.
Yeah. So
he wants to keep everything open. He wants to keep the economy going, but Florida's always been that one state where it's it's in the U.S., but they always kind of do their own thing.
There's a lot of fuckery in Florida.
Yeah,
man.
Especially South Florida, So maybe that's why I love it down there.
There's the United States, and then there's Florida.
The
one that's like hanging off the edge of America, and some wild shit happens down there.
Yeah. So,
but that market is inflated.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
I
mean, that's why you're saying $50,000 to a $400,000 lot. So it's not gonna last forever.
No.
Whereas like New York is still seeing price adjustment.
Yeah.
So
my buddy's a property manager at Greystar.
I
think he said that 40 or maybe 40 or 50% of the building is not even there. He's dropping prices.
That's residential.
I believe it's both. I think it's residential and renting or rentals. But he's dropping prices 30-40%, and they're like, "Oh, can we get a bigger discount?" He's like,
"Oh, sorry, hold on. Sorry, that's what I meant. You're saying it's purely residential. I was saying, like, is it also commercial too?"
Oh,
like
no. Yeah,
he's strictly got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's dropping prices for an apartment building in New York City, 30-40%, and they're like, "Oh, we want a bigger discount." He's like, "I can't." The amount
is that on the sales side or the rental side?
Rental. Yeah, so the market's crazy,
Because I don't have it in front of me right now, but there's a lot of sales prices that haven't, like, you'd think, "Ooh, that's got to be down 40%, right?" And it's not. There's still people. 'Cause there's a lot of foreign money too in New York City real estate. It's like they're hanging on, like it's going to come back, and you and I obviously both believe it will. But there's gotta be some bigger adjustment at some point. I'm not saying there isn't in some areas of the city right now, but I'm saying, like, just let's say property X is really only down about 10% right now, and you got to be thinking to yourself, shit, that's got to go down 30-40% value at some point, just because so much money's flowing out.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. It's crazy. And, you would live in New York? You're a New York guy?
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. You know this.
I love New York, but I couldn't live there.
You couldn't live there?
No, I couldn't.
Why not?
I've worked in New York, and it's just not the place for me. Not the place to live. I would live near it, but I would go visit. I would go, whatever, out to dinner and stuff and go see New York City, but I'm a Florida guy. I just
be very careful saying that, how you say that.
You're right.
I'm a Florida guy.
I love South Florida. But don't get me wrong. I love where I grew up. I love the people I grew up with. And I love New Jersey. But where I'm at in my life, I like South Florida.
But you're back in Jersey now. You've been in Jersey most of the time. And as you said, Jersey's like mostly closed. So what's amazing to me is your mindset, whatever you want to say, seems to be really fucking clear and relaxed. And I know, like, things are going well business-wise for you, but you're dealing with the same shit here. Mm-hmm. We are here. It's not normal. You can't go places. Everything's closed, and, like, people aren't around people. Like, how are you keeping your mindset so clear? Enlighten me.
That's a good question, and I just feel as if I'm not getting off track. Still exercising, still waking up, and staying motivated, doing the things that I'm passionate about in business, and even though I can't go outside or go hang out with friends or do other activities that I would like to do, you have to stay motivated in other ways. I've been connecting with people through social media and meeting people, and was getting on Zoom calls and getting on business calls and talking with people and building relationships just like anything else. But you have to find the things that you have to find little things that help you stay positive and keep going. Keep forward, moving in the right direction, whether it's picking up a new hobby or, changing up your exercise routine, whatever that is, or picking up a new book, reading is definitely, everybody has to read. I never read when I was young. I used to, read the first page and then read the last page and say I read the book, or read the back of the book and say, I understand what it is. But you have to pick up something new if you're feeling in that state of, that stagnant or that stuck feeling. But, other than that, it's really just, you're right. The world didn't stop for my business and, the things that I'm involved in. So, it was a little bit easier transition. But, being inside, I don't know if I could do it again. But I'm going to have no choice to. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep finding ways to stay positive.
Have you been making fitness a centerfold of everything, like, since the beginning of this?
The centerfold? No, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's definitely a big...
not a centerfold, but like a priority.
Yeah, no, definitely. Fitness has always been a priority in my life, and I love to stay healthy. I love to eat healthy, and work out and work out hard. You know what I mean? So, I wish I could play basketball more, but during COVID, you can't pick up a basketball. And now, outside, it's not the summertime in New Jersey now, so no one's going outside and playing basketball in 30-degree weather. So
when the gyms weren't open though, like what were you doing? Like just push-ups and crunches type deal?
No,
working it into every day.
I would go in there and hit the weights. Try to do some high intensity workouts and stuff like that. But no, I was working out hard. So, but I mean, I'd love to get back into playing basketball. Once everything opens back up, I mean, that's something that I look at it to clear my head and, to take a half hour, an hour away of my day and just play hoops. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Are people playing hoops like down in Florida where it's open? Like, are they?
Yeah.
That's happening?
Yeah. I mean,
so there's pickup games again?
Yeah, pickup games. Yeah.
That's nice.
Maybe not 5-on-5, but you're playing 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even in the summertime, we were trying to play up here in New Jersey, but it they took the hoops down. Like they took the rim down.
They took the rim.
Like,
is that still the case? They're still down.
Where I'm living, they haven't put them back up yet. Well, I mean, now no one's gonna go outside, but still, like. Yeah,
I saw that in April. I was taking a dog for a walk down the street here in the park, and I saw the rims down one day, and I'm like, they really took the fucking rims down. Yeah. Like the two cops that had to come there and do that, or whoever it was.
Exactly.
Tax dollars went to taking the fucking rims down. Like it just and that's my thing. Like there's such an overreaction on some stuff, and it's like they were saying at the beginning this stuff was on the surface of things, and I realized after about a week with all the Amazon packages going everywhere and everyone was fine in my building, I was like, I guess it's not on the surface, huh? All these fucking packages are touching all these people. So like, and then you look at like basketball rims and stuff. Like you should, hypothetically, I would think the science would back, and I don't know, people always gotta say this. I don't fucking know. Don't look at me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical historian or whatever. But I gotta think like the science kind of has to back. Like exercise is probably pretty good for you. Yeah. Like if you're gonna have people doing something, let them be doing it outside, playing pickup fucking basketball. Yeah. It seems like some of that was counterintuitive. So I hope we get back to that too. But have you been doing anything that's like, morning routines or stuff to like just get yourself centered to be able to be like, all right, I know I woke up and walked around the corner from my room to my desk, which is the kitchen table now. And, we got to do this and be in the game today and be able to be ready and primed to do it again tomorrow. So I got to get my mind right to do that. Are you doing anything in particular that kind of gets you in the zone?
Nothing out of the ordinary that I haven't done prior to pandemic. I mean, it's literally just what?
You're so nonchalant about this. I kind of envy it, but
no, but I mean, you have to think about it. Like, yes, we're in a global pandemic, or in the second stage of it, but we're gonna get past this. And there's going to be the next obstacle, and, how much are you going to change from your routine? If you're changing your routine constantly, then you should probably just stick to a constant routine where you don't have to change it that much. Like if you never exercise and then during the global pandemic, you're like, oh, I think I should exercise. Well, a global pandemic has to happen for you to start exercising. Like, you should have thought about that beforehand, but I'm glad something, kicks something in your ass to say, okay, I want to exercise now. You should always have that even keel. You never should get too high or too low on certain things, most of things, but like, you should have that pattern of routine or, regimen that you're following, and that's what I believe,
There's not a lot that phases you. It's really, like now I'm being serious. Like, because this is just icing on the cake for me. Because I've almost been digging for, I don't know, the last half hour or something. Yeah. Like waiting for you to be like, man, this one thing, like this fucking blows. And you're just kind of like, nah, it's going to be over at some point. Like, it's all good. Like, we're going to be fighting. You hear about the flute deaths? Don't hear about those. Nah, whatever. Leave that one there. Like, you're so relaxed about it. But this is probably a really good example of some of the stuff that makes you good in circles like this. Because you don't get starstruck. You don't get, like, everyone is everyone. Like, they take a shit the same way you do. And that's kind of how you go about life, like, with people. And it's obviously, like, how you keep it even keel, like, just on a personal level every day, even through the chaos.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I, became like this or was like this or, but I just always felt like it just, this is how I am, and people always ask me like, hey, you smoke a lot of weed, right?
I was just going to say, how much weed were you smoking at a young age, you motherfucker? Wait. Actually, here's a funny story. One of the first times I met you, like I had known you a little bit, but like we didn't hang out or really talk.
No, please
but
don't tell
we
me.
used to work out at this one guy's studio up in Fairfield, not the one you talked about, but we worked out at JD at Droz's place. And so I go in there after work to like change and get ready to work out, and like there wasn't a locker room. It's just like a straight up fucking old school bathroom. People just went in there and got ready to go. And Luke's in there, and I walk in, we start talking,
but it was the weirdest thing because every time like you would be entering the bathroom, I would just be coming in. So it was like every time of the same kind of every same day. It was like,
were you following me to the bathroom?
Yeah, no,
fucking weirdo.
Now you realize it, right?
Yeah, now I realize it. But at the time, Luke had this long ponytail like down his back, like with the curly hair and shit. I mean, he looked like your prototypical stoner, and he would just kind of come in there, and like he's not a loud guy. So again, like we didn't talk a ton of time, weren't friends, and he'd just be like, "Hey, what's up?" and then go about his work and not do anything. So finally, I'm like, all right, this guy's got to have like a lot of weed, right? So I'm like, you a dealer? And Luke dead ass looks at me and goes, laughs, like does that same laugh and goes, nah, dude, I had to get out of the game. And I'm like, oh, so he was. And I'm like, damn, like how long? He's like, when I was like 13, man. No. I'm like, 13? I didn't even know where my balls were.
No. I probably, this is bad to say, but I started smoking weed, at a younger age, and I was playing varsity sports when I went to high school, as a freshman. So I was hanging around with guys that were 18, 19, and those guys were smoking marijuana.
Yep.
So I was hanging out with those guys, and kind of tried it then, and then just started smoking weed, and but by the time I reached college, I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you like never do.
Never.
But you just never lost that stoner.
It must have just had so much effect on me when I was younger. It's just like had that after effect. You seen Wolf of Wall Street when he takes the pills?
The Quaaludes?
The Quaaludes, and he's like, fuck it must be expired. The 10 years, 20 years. Like, all right, pop two more. And like an hour later, he's like dragging on the floor. He's like, yeah. And so I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it, but it's always just been like a chill, laid back, and try not to let things faze me, whether it's a pandemic or things go wrong in business or life, and and you can't get too high on things either. Not talking about weed sends a high, but just
I know what you mean.
Just so. But it's just who I am. Some people, they envy it, and some people are like, man, I don't want to be like that. But it's definitely just who I am. You know what I mean? And yeah. But people have always asked me like, oh, bro, you smoke a lot of weed, right? Bro, I don't do that, nah.
You don't exude stress on really much of anything, which is anyone would be jealous of that. Just because, I think of you like that. Mm-hmm. Really. Yeah. Like if you're listening and not watching, I'm holding my hand up like dead center still. Like you're just right there the whole time.
I mean, I do get excited. I do get,
you do, but
nervous,
it's not.
Stuff like that, but it's just, I don't know. I just try to stay at that even keel and just try to, I'm always going to be myself, So at that point, I just was like, all right, this is Luke, And my dad named me after the movie Cool Hand Luke.
I was gonna say, you're Cool Hand Luke.
So, and anybody that hasn't seen that movie with Paul Newman, it's, you know about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's about but I would like you to tell it a little bit, but it's about a guy, and his name's Cool Hand Luke, and he gets arrested. He goes into jail, but he escapes from jail. And then when they catch him, they start torturing him. They start yelling at him, and he just stays at this, this level that is just nothing phases him. You know, they're making him, you know, he escapes from jail again, and he gets back in, and they catch him, and they're making him, you know, bury his own grave, and he's there like, you know, just Cool Hand Luke, you know, in a way. And it's funny because I haven't seen that movie for so long, and then when I saw it the first time, I was on the plane actually down to Florida, and they had it on the United flight, and I watched the movie, and I got off the plane, and I called my dad, and I said, Dad, like, how did you know I was going to end up to kind of like be like that guy in the way of his personality and the way he just was. It's like, I didn't know. I did, you know, Cool Hand Luke, and it just, like it just kind of.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just named you.
You know, and it just kind of aligned with how he handles things in life. To, you know, not saying I've been in jail or anything like that, but you know, like, you know, you just.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. I mean, you didn't have to do that.
I know,
but,
I know.
You know,
only one night. You know.
Yeah. No, I think he kind of nailed that because there's just no. It's very hard to fuck with people or hold things over people who don't react.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing they'll do is respond. And there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah.
And you're not, like, you're the kind of guy that in that pressure situation, you're going to be like, all right, you know, it'll work out or it won't.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're a realist about it, but you I think you said this earlier, but you control what you can control.
Yeah.
It's a really admirable talent, I would say.
Yeah. No, and it takes a while, you know, it takes a pattern to get like that. It takes a mindset to get like that.
A pound or two?
No. maybe three. But you know, you really have to, you know, put yourself in that mind state of just, you know, you stay optimistic and everything's gonna be all right. You know what you're going through now is you're gonna look back, whether it's a 3-month phase of, you know, something bad that's going on, or even it's a 1-week phase. You know what I mean? Or even if it's a year, you still have to kind of think about it like, wow, 5 years from now, I'm gonna look back and that was such a small part of my life. You know, I might have took over, you know, a lot of my time and energy in that 6 months or whatever it was. But, you know, overall, you're going to look back and be like, wow, yeah, no, that did happen. I went through that, you know, but wow, look at me now. You know what I mean? And you see people that have changed, or, you know, people could turn around their whole life in 6 months, you know,
yeah.
and, you know, or the opposite. People, their whole life can spiral in 3-6 months. You know what I mean? So you just try to stay at that even keel, and, you know, always work hard, and, you know, keep pushing forward.
When something bad is happening in your life, do you step back? Like, do you find yourself in that moment having the ability to step back and say, hey, all right, this is very bad right now. Like, let's say the worst kind of things, but this too shall pass. And maybe it's going to take 3 months or 6, but like, not that long from now, I'm going to be all right. Do you have that ability to do that?
I mean, everybody has that ability to do that. Sometimes they just don't know that they can do it, or they haven't tapped into it
fair.
yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm no different from like you or anybody else that can change their mindset. You know, and there's a quote that, you know, I like, and it's change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. You know, so. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. You know, so I kind of just, you know, like you said, I respond more than I react. So, you know, if something bad happens, or, you know, if someone says something, or, you know, current events are happening in the next, you know, in this week, you know, and things are going bad, well, no, I don't say to myself, oh, yeah, next week it'll be better. I just say, well, okay, well, why did this happen? What did I do to kind of cause this, or did I do something? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel as if, you know, you always try to, you know, no, I wouldn't say control the situation, because I don't want to control anybody. Yeah. You know, I don't want to control situations. I just want to, you know, let people feel as if they, you know, can trust me, and you know, and be open with me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to, you know, I really, I just think I just have this kind of, you know, overpowering mindset that just is like, all right, this is why it happened. It's not going to happen again. And if it does, well, I've been through it already, you know? So.
Do you get frustrated, though, at other people when they can't, like, let's say, you know, some of your trust. Yeah, not even just understand you, but like when they're going through shit and like they can't do that. Does it frustrate you?
No, you can't. You can't get frustrated with somebody else because if they don't understand, if you can't understand something and I'm getting frustrated with you, what are you going to start thinking about? You're going to start thinking about me being frustrated at you. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's not going to help your situation. Mm-hmm. You know, you just got to let that person, you know, when you go through things, you grow in a different way, whether you're stronger or you feel as if you're becoming a different person, whatever it is, whatever you go through, it makes you a different person. You know, bad or good, you know, and everybody has that choice, you know, to wake up and feel a certain way about themselves and to do good, you know what I mean? And to try to, you know, strive for doing better in every day, you know what I mean? But no, I never feel, you know, a sense of frustration towards anybody that, you know, if people don't know right or wrong, then it's different, you know, but, you know, I'm trying to think of an example, but there's just, I mean, no, I would never feel frustrated with somebody. If they don't understand, you know, I would try to make them understand. And if I can't, then maybe it's in time that they do understand, you know, but I would never, no.
Because their experience isn't yours. Their environment isn't yours no matter what. You know? We only know where we're from and what we're about.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When you understand, you know, maybe not where people come from, a little bit about that, but just more about who a person is and what makes them tick or what makes them not tick, like, then you could kind of have that conversation with them and say, listen, I think we should do this, this, and that. And, you know, this is a better business move. Or, you know, friends-wise, hey, bro, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, I don't think you should keep doing that. Or, hey, bro, like, I see you doing really well with this. Like, yeah, keep that up. Like, you know what I mean? There's different ways to, you know, definitely approach, you know, your friends and really have an effect on them, whether or not, like, they think you are impacting them right now. You know what I mean? And they might look back and say, damn, like, nah, Luke, you were right. You know, or it was like, nah, I don't want to listen to Luke. Like, he thinks he knows what he's talking about. But I don't ever want to come off like I know what I'm talking about. Even if I do, like, you know what I mean? It's just no one wants to be around the know-it-all, you know? Mm. But, you know, if I'm giving my advice, and that's, like, there's people that, you know, that I'm close to and, you know, and I'll give them my advice and stuff. Or, you know, sometimes people have to, you know, pull it out of me and say, hey, what should I do? What should I do? You know what I mean? And I just, you know, give them my advice in a way of the, you know, I always try to think of an unbiased opinion. You know, if they're telling me, hey, listen, this happened with this person and I'm trying to figure it out. Well, okay, I'm going to think about what is the other person thinking of, not just what my friend is, because my friend just wants me to say what he thinks is right for him or her. You know what I mean? Like, well, okay, well, there's always two sides to a story, you know what I mean? So you have to think about what the other person could be thinking when you're going to say this, you know? So, you know, you have to be mindful of other people's feelings and emotions, you know what I mean? Like that goes into, you know, building relationships. You know, I can't build a relationship if I'm always talking to you and you're getting angry or frustrated with me, you know, or the things that I'm saying, you're just like, dude, I don't want to hear this. Like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta, you know, put that into thought, you know?
Yeah, you kind of know when there needs to be space on. You have a very good feel for when there needs to be space on things versus when you can be a little more vulnerable and direct about it. Yeah. Do you ever get? I mean, I genuinely want to know this because I really have never heard it. I can think of like one time where we disagreed on artistic direction or something, which was kind of funny, but. Even then, like,
only one time we disagreed.
No. Like we disagreed more than that. But I can remember one time we were like, God damn it, you know. But even then, like, no anger, no, and you know me, like, I tend to be, I can be here too, but like not like you. Like I can have my moments where I get real high strung about something. Like it fucking happens, no question about it. And I remember like in that. I was getting a little high strung about it after a while. And even then, like I could tell you kind of wanted to, but you didn't. You're like, you kept on coming back and like you would recenter the conversation, be like, listen, I know that's what you think. I disagree. This is what I think. Here's why. And like sometimes it would be like you'd be repeating it over and over again. And then afterwards I realized like, damn, I never lost it. And like, he was just doing it to kind of like get me back to center over and over again telegraphing what he was doing because he wasn't going to let me pull him into getting high strung like that. Like, do you ever have situations though where you're like, no, fuck it. Like, I'm mad now. I'm going in. Because I almost, as hard as this is to concept, like, I almost feel like you're not capable of that.
No, I mean, I definitely am capable of it, but it's just got to be something that's just like, way out there.
Next level.
Yeah, like conversational wise, I don't think I don't see myself doing that, because when you take things to a certain level, whether it's, a partnership in business or, a relationship with a girl, like when you take things to that next level, you don't look each other the same. Like you don't look at each other the same way. You lose a very little sense of respect, and you can't get that back. You know what I mean? And you don't ever want to go there, so it's but I think I do know what maybe situation you are talking about. And I mean, it would take me, trust me, I got into plenty of fights and things like that, and, get angry and stuff like that. But it would have to be, you'd have to say something like about my mom or something like that, like for me to like take it over the edge or something like that. But even that stuff, like, like there's some times when it just like, whoa, like, I remember this is a funny story. So I think it was me, Chaz, my sister-in-law, and we're out with a couple friends in Hoboken, and we go to a bar. We're having a couple of drinks.
Bar? That's important.
I think it was called Madison, Uptown. The Madison.
The Madison Hotel.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it was the Madison Bar or something like that. You know where City Bistro is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like right around there. It's on the corner. The Madison Bar or something. I don't know.
I don't think I know that bar, but go ahead.
No, you probably been there. So we go into the bar, and then we see this other group of friends that we know. And we're talking with them, we're having some drinks, and we're only there for maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then another group gets into like a little scuffle with the group that we know. And then we didn't really kind of react, but, we were just helping, control the situation and, just make sure everybody's just back to having a good time. And, so then like, maybe the people that got into the fight, they thought I was involved or whatever. And then when they started walking out, one of the guys walked out, and I had just got my drink. And one of the guys that walked out, and he walks right by me, and he just boop, taps me on the head. I turned around, I threw my drink, started swinging. I mean, I flipped.
When was this?
This was about maybe like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Luke Cervino.
Yeah.
Lucavelli came out.
But that's the thing. Like you I could be even keeled, but like, not saying that happens all the time, but like stuff like that, like, but you don't disrespect me. You tap your hand on my head. Like, you know what I mean? And
yeah, especially not with 3 drinks in me.
Yeah, I mean, I only think I had 2 at that point. Like, but you know what I mean? It didn't even take the drinks. It was more or less of like, the level of disrespect that this person showed me. It wasn't gonna go,
I think, and actually, I think that's even a little more, that's a little different, a little more primal. Yeah. Like when there's shit like that, especially when it's something physical like that, like that's different. But like, when you're in disagreements with people and shit, like we can all.
Wait, but can I finish the story?
Yeah.
So
sorry.
So we're going at it. The bouncer 6'5", he's holding me back. There's 3 of them, so the guy's holding them back. We get back to drinking. Right, now we're drinking. Maybe another 15 minutes go by. The bouncer comes, and 6'5" bouncer taps me on the shoulder. He says, "Can you go outside? The cops are out there." So no, I'm not going. I'm not going. No, please, sir, can you come outside? The cops are here. So I walk outside. The 3 guys are standing there with the cop. I walk out, like you said, I had my ponytail at the time, and so I walk out, and the cop goes, "Wait, so it was you? So you 3 guys call the cops on this guy?" Like, and I'm like,
what do you mean?
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, but like, it was like, oh, like the cop was in shock of that. These 3 guys, that were 6 foot and above were like, all right, we want this guy arrested because he came at us. I said, no. They started with me. They started with somebody else, then they started with me, And you know, they sent me a subpoena. I wasn't allowed to go back to the vault.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. Nah, it was bad. But then the subpoena was done. I got back. So the first time I ever walked back in there, I showed the guy my ID. This was a year later, right? I showed the guy my ID. He looks, oh my God, you're a legend here. I was like, nah, not me, man.
You walked out there like, I don't want to talk to these cops. Cops look at you and go, him, and you go, you want to fuck around and find out? It's like 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, but no, that was
all right, so you got a little other side to you. I definitely do draw a line between that and, you know, just on a general day to day, because like that's dude, and anyone's gonna get pissed in that scenario. No one's fucking tapping me on the head with 2 or 3 in me. No. No, they're gonna learn real fast.
Yeah, so.
That's the thing. Like, we do some stupid shit when we're in bars. Like, people become new people in bars.
Yeah, everybody gets more confident when they get drunk. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Why do you think guys go out and they get drunk and then they start talking to girls? It's like, bro.
Well, yeah, no, it's true.
You know, but most of the time it doesn't work out for them.
Well, depends on the guy, but yeah,
definitely depends on the guy.
Dude, and it can, to your point, it can definitely go for the worst there. I think we all got stories like that. But it's like something like a little primal happens, like when that alcohol gets in your system, like something a little bit primal. You know, like the little things suddenly you're like tough about that you weren't tough about 10 minutes ago. You had a couple car bombs, now you're real tough.
No, exactly. Yeah, I stay at that even keel, and you know, I like it.
You ever get into trouble out in Fort Lickerdale?
I haven't yet. Not yet.
You're planning on it.
I'm not. Nah, I don't plan on a lot of things. But you know, getting in trouble is definitely one I don't plan. But you know, things happen. You know, you could be out and. You know, you never know what can happen, especially in a place where, you know, the whole world is, you know, the whole United States is in lockdown. They're the only state. You know? Like, wait a minute. But, you know, everybody's good down there. You know, you got tough guys wherever you go. But, you know, for the most part, people are good down there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, fucking leave it to Florida, man.
Yeah.
Leave it to Florida. Yeah. It's like the petri dish of... Literally.
Yeah. No, but I meant to bring this earlier. I like that shirt.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, dude.
Place Behind the Pines.
Underrated movie.
Oh yeah.
Underrated fucking movie.
Nah, Ryan Gosling's great in it. Bradley Cooper. I mean, that was. I think that movie went for over 3 hours, right?
It's a long one. I will bring up this movie and people will not know what I'm talking about. And I'll be like, oh,
that's one of my favorite movies. People that, you know.
I love that's one of your favorite movies. Yeah. If people haven't seen that, Place Beyond the Pines is like, it's like a generational ballad.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I describe it.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah. It's like, you can't just like watch that movie passively though.
Yeah.
Like you need to like sit down. Like,
you gotta lock in.
Exactly. And like Ryan Gosling in that movie is about, who's on my shirt?
Yeah.
That's about as good of acting as you will ever see in your life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like...
And his name is Luke in the movie.
Yeah,
so...
Were you named after him?
No.
No, man. I love that movie, and it's like... it came out in like March of the year it came out, whatever year that, like 2012 or 2013 or something.
No, not that old.
You don't think so?
No, I think maybe 16.
Check that on your phone. But it came out like in the spring, so it wasn't an Oscar season or anything. It kind of got overlooked, but dude, like if you like
you're right, 2013.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
If you like good storytelling and you're into like just a fucking artistically well put together movie, that's the one for you.
That's enough, yeah.
But his character in that movie is such a badass.
If you had to name, I mean, not top 5, but actors that come, like, you know, 5 actors that come to your head.
All time?
All time, or you just like watching that, you know, haven't made a movie in a while? Just 5 actors that come to your head.
No, I could.
Who's the first one? Say one.
Brando.
Yeah?
Brando, right there.
Yeah.
100%, man. Brando was... People, and some people listening who know me will be like, he didn't say Al Pacino?
Yeah, well, that's what
Al Pacino's number 2, which is like, Al Pacino's an incredible actor, underrated. and legend, but sometimes like there was like a thing in college where I was like, someone didn't like Al Pacino, so then it became a thing. So everyone called me Al Pacino. So I fucking loved Al Pacino. But yeah, Al Pacino's great. But Brando, people don't understand. Like a lot of people be like, be like, wait, who's that? And I'll be like, The Godfather, the guy who played him. Will be like, oh yeah, that motherfucker. But like, dude, he was the original It guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a pure form, tour de force, method actor who got so deep in his roles and was just, he was like tortured by it. So I think it was why he was like a weird dude. Yeah. So he's definitely one. Obviously, Pacino's definitely up there. Daniel Day-Lewis, who pound for pound, one of the greatest of all time. Leo.
Oh, Leo. That's my number one, probably. I love
Yeah, who are yours?
I would probably say Leonardo DiCaprio. Who else? Who else is up there? I like Denzel. Dude,
Denzel. Yeah, I got a couple Denzel shirts back there.
Denzel's awesome.
Denzel's top up there for me, too.
Will Smith is up there, too. You got to give it to him.
He's a very good actor.
But Leo in, what was it, The Revenant?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Did you see the new Hollywood movie that he did?
I did. Yeah, he was terrific, I thought.
How did you like that movie, though?
I think I got to watch it again. No, really.
But I laugh because that's the first thing that comes to my mind is like, I've seen it twice already. And the first time.
What do you think?
The first time I just said, I don't even know what I watched. Like, it was all over the place. And, I loved, what's her name? Margot Robbie. She was awesome. But then.
Now, was she awesome because she's a great actress awesome, or you just like some Margot Robbie?
I think it's a little bit of both. Brad Pitt, he was great in it.
Yeah. She's an unbelievable actress, by the way.
Yeah.
She's really amazing.
And I think what hurt me watching the movie because I had a different expectation of it, and that's one thing I don't like to do either. How I stay on that even keel is your expectations can't be too high for things. If your expectations are too high, then you're going to come out of there and be, it's not that great. You
know like a lot about the Manson murders or something? Or
no,
like in general?
Man. Just in general, like those three together in the same movie, I was like, wow, this is going to be great. And then when I watched it the second time, I was like, wow, this is a really good movie.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, because the information that I researched prior to or after the first one, I watched it the first time. I was like, all right, now things are starting to make a little bit more sense. And okay, why did he do this? And why was he hanging out with the one girl and going to those like cabin things or whatever? And but I mean, what was Leo's name in the movie?
I gotta look it up.
Rick.
Yeah.
Rick Stanton? No.
It's close.
Yeah.
What's it called? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I mean, the other thing we're not saying right now is obviously who made the movie. And that's half
we haven't
the story,
got to that, but But that's
Tarantino.
why it was all over the place.
Exactly, and that's his whole thing. All right, what was this guy's name?
Rick
Dalton.
And
Cliff Booth.
Cliff Booth.
That was it. Yeah. Tarantino.
Who's this, your son? Nah, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
This is my stunt double.
Yeah, but the best is when Leo's they're in the car together and he's driving him. Brad Pitt's driving him to one of the scenes, and I think he was having a drink, and he gets out and he's like kind of like not looking too confident, and then Brad Pitt goes, "Hey." And fucking Leonardo DiCaprio looks back and he's like, "Remember, you're fucking Rick Dalton." Like, that was a great part. But
he's underrated for his accents too, like Leo's accents that he does.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You ever seen the clip? He was on Ellen DeGeneres, and they talked about he had like these two crazy incidents where he was skydiving and then he was flying, I think, to like Russia or something. And these two, things that happened to him, he talks about them, and like it was first of all, it was crazy what happened to him because he was skydiving and the parachutes broke. The parachutes were tangled. The first one, and then the actor, what the hell do you call the guy?
Stunt double?
No, like this is a real thing. Like
Oh wait, he was doing this in real life.
yeah, he was skydiving.
I mean, he was doing it in real life, but
yeah, like he
it
was
wasn't for a movie.
skydiving, but the instructor that was on his back, he was like, all right, it's tangled, like, so we got to get the second one. The second one was tangled, and then like, you know, everybody's poop poop, like, you know, getting the parachutes and all his friends, and then he's still coming down hard, like, you know, and then finally they get the parachute, and you know he lands safely, but he was like, oh, I'm never doing that again. But then he was on a plane.
That's my nightmare, by the way.
Why, you would go skydiving?
No.
Oh.
And if I did.
So how's it a nightmare if you would never do it?
If the fucking instructor went, wait, number 2's out.
But how is it a nightmare if you don't ever think you're gonna do it?
I don't like heights.
Yeah, but
and I'm saying, like, that's my nightmare. Like, if I were doing it and they said, like, oh yeah, you know, backup's out. We'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, I heard that the instructor will fall first and hit first. So, you know,
from 30,000 feet in the air. I don't know how much of a difference that's gonna make. I gotta tell you, man. There's enough hollow bones in a body that I think I'm pretty fucked.
Yeah. So rather you fall first or say, you might be still fucked. You're right.
Yeah. But back to it. I don't even know how we got there, but Tarantino's movies. Oh yeah. That's the thing about him. Like, he's such a genius. The amount of money I would pay to be a fly on the wall inside of that man's brain. Oh my God. I mean, because his movies they're crazy. But I'm like, are you a big fan of his?
I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah.
What's your favorite Tarantino movie?
That's a good question. I can't think of the top. Can you give me a couple?
Well, there was Kill Bill back in the early 2000s. There were a couple of those. Few of those.
I'm not big into like horror movies.
There was Reservoir Dogs was the first one. Pulp Fiction. Jackie Brown. I know my favorite. I almost don't want to say it. Inglourious Bastards.
Maybe I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan, but
Luke's like, I was thinking of a different guy.
yeah. I'm like, all right, wait a minute.
Fuck, I shouldn't have had expectations for that movie.
Yeah.
You ever seen Inglourious Bastards?
No.
No. Woo! Inglourious Bastards is Brad Pitt. Oh my God. Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, who you may not know by name, but you'd know him right away if I showed. One of the best pound for pound actors you'll ever see.
I love how you use the term pound for pound actor.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm from Philly. We're used to pound for pound greatest player, Allen Iverson. Yeah, so everyone's pound for pound, no matter what. It just translated. But
so we're in Philly right now.
We're pretty close to Philly. We're not in Philly. We're in South Jersey. Let's make that clear.
So we're still in Jersey.
Yes, we're still in Jersey. This guy's still giving me shit over this.
Nah.
But who else was in that? BJ Novak's in that.
Okay.
Oh, funny story about BJ Novak. I wasn't there for this, but he came to our college to like do stand up or like a speech or something, and he gave everyone a chance to do a joke at the end. And so this kid gets up there right next to him on stage and goes so 3 midgets walk into sorry with that word again.
Oh man, that was a good one.
That wasn't a joke. But he goes up there. He goes, 3 midgets walk into the Guinness Book of World Records studio or whatever to get a world record. And the first midget goes, I am convinced that I have the smallest hand on an adult male in the world. So he walks in, the Guinness people measure his hand, and they go, all right, confirm you have the smallest hand. Next guy walks in and goes, I am convinced that I have the smallest toe on a grown male in the world that's not diseased or something like that. And he walks in, they measure it, and they go, oh, congratulations, you have the smallest toe. Third midget goes in and goes, I'm convinced I have the smallest dick of any adult male in the world. And they go in and measure it, and he walks out, and they're like, the other 2 midgets are like, so? And he goes, no, I don't. Fuck. And they're like, what's the story? They measure your dick and it's not the smallest. He goes, who the fuck is BJ Novak? So this kid tells a joke right next to him. And BJ Novak goes like, "Get the fuck off the stage!" Like didn't laugh at all.
Oh my
And the kid's
God.
like, "Oh," I'm like, all right, I thought we were burning out here. But yeah,
Oh my God.
he's in that movie.
Yeah.
What's the guy who played excellent actor? Michael Fassbender, the guy who played Steve Jobs. He's in it. But that movie is like, the thing about Tarantino is his first scenes of every movie are like notoriously amazing, like these slow burn things. So that movie starts off with an SS soldier, because it takes place in World War II, visiting some like cabin out in the fields of France, and visiting with this guy who's the head of a household. He's appears to be single, and he's got 3 daughters, and he's looking for hiding Jewish people. And the whole scene is this guy sitting at his kitchen table talking with the SS officer who's like a psycho. And he's hiding Jewish people.
Oh no.
And like, it's about halfway through the scene you realize he is, and the whole scene is just building up, and it's just dialogue. But the entire time, like, you're sitting there like riveted. You're like, oh my god, is he gonna catch him? Is he gonna catch him? I won't tell you what happens, but it's like, it's got to be like a 15-20 minute scene just talking. And that's what makes Tarantino great, because he has these scenes where it's not like there's even like a ton of action going on, but you can feel that whole like brooding going towards it. So I definitely got to watch the Hollywood movie again, just because it was like all over the place at first. All the history in it too. What other movies you liking?
Well, obviously The Rock is up there too for actors wise.
He is a really underrated actor.
You think he's underrated?
Yes, because here's why. He's a movie star. He's viewed that and like beloved, right? But like, he can fucking act.
Yeah.
Like, people don't look at The Rock and be like, all right, he'll be up for an Oscar this year. Not that he does a lot of movies like that, but he's really fucking good.
Well, maybe it's just because like, I don't know. I don't know why. But that is a good point, though. I never thought about it like that. But I always thought about it like, he's The Rock. He's a movie star, but he's a good actor. But maybe because it's tough for him to play different roles.
Yeah, he's so big. No, really. I mean, he's a human boulder.
Yeah. Like Marky Mark, that's one of my favorite guys.
Another great one.
And he plays different roles. And even Ben Affleck, I like him. He plays different roles in a way. Did you see the movie he just did? I think it was The Way Back.
I haven't, no.
He was a basketball coach, but he was a basketball player in high school, and then he's working and he gets married and stuff, but then he gets a divorce and he becomes basically an alcoholic. He works a job, then the basketball high school he went to, they ask him to be the coach. And he becomes the coach, and they haven't had a winning season since he was there 20 years ago or something like that. Like, it's some crazy thing, but he ends up, and I mean, he played a great part in that movie, and he played a great, role, and I mean, he was awesome. The movie was great too.
He's had a really cool career in the sense that he was written off as like a shit actor.
Yeah,
it was like he came up writing.
The Accountant, he was fucking amazing.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah. But he, like, when he was young, because he wrote Good Will Hunting, I think, with Matt Damon, and people are like, oh yeah, Matt Damon and his friend. Yeah. And then like Ben Affleck was a star because of it, but they're like, oh, he can't act. And then he does Gigli with J-Lo when they were a thing. That was. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Woo!
You know what I just seen? That was that last week. I seen it again. The Departed. That's a great movie.
Yeah, The Departed.
Leo's awesome in that.
The Departed is maybe a top 5 for me.
It's up there. It's definitely a top 5. And I like Matt Damon, but Leo, you could feel like he was stressing being in when they're with whatever Jack Nichol's name is in the movie. But he was like he would talk back, when we talked to the cops, like he was the informant guy. He would be like, man, you got to get me out of here. They're going to kill me. Like, you felt like he was like that part, you know what I mean? But
he didn't win anything for that. I don't even think he got nominated, but no. I will take this to my grave, and I'm a huge Leo fan. Yeah. I think he's incredible in pretty much every movie I've ever watched. That's his best movie.
That's his best one?
And that's just an opinion, hot take, but no, really.
I know it's an opinion.
I couldn't agree with you more. He was, I'll never forget seeing that movie for the first time. And I was like, wow. Like he really, and everything was embodied in that. Also, probably the greatest sex scene in movie history, just because like movies can't show anything. But that whole in the middle with Vera Farmiga was one of the hottest fucking things I've ever seen. Not to get it steamy in here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just a great movie.
Nah, it's a very good movie.
And
that's one of the top 5, definitely.
Yeah, something about like the setting too, like when it's in like Boston or something. You ever see The Town?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite movies.
Because that's where it like started to happen. Because Affleck, especially after Geely, they're like, this guy fucking blows. And then towards like the end of the aughts or whatever the hell they call it, like I forget what he did, but he came out with like 1 or 2 movies there. It's like, oh, all right, he's okay.
Yeah.
And then he did The Town.
No.
And The Town got appreciated after it was already out, like on DVD, like after it had been in the theaters. I saw it in the theaters though.
Really?
And I was like, oh.
Because they play it all the time on TV and stuff.
That movie's like wine.
Yeah.
People like it more every year.
Yeah,
They're like, oh yeah, it's gone from like, oh yeah, that movie to like, oh wow, good movie to like, oh yeah, great movie to like, oh dude, that's an all-timer.
Yeah, no,
like,
you're right.
Over the years.
We didn't even bring. So you think Leo was better in The Departed than he was in Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street, definitely. I thought he was terrific in Wolf of Wall Street. I thought he was terrific in Wolf of Wall Street.
I thought he was like
stupendous, out of this world, nailed it
from every aspect. From
everything.
Like before he got rich to when he was rich to when he was down. Like I just thought
part of it is the genre probably a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like it's definitely, don't get me wrong, like it's got a lot of drama to it. Obviously, it's a long movie, but you know, it's
The Departed is just
it's comedic. The Departed is like, and there's some funny moments in that, but it's like such a You're like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
It's just such a...
Because every kind of scene in a way with The Departed keeps you on edge, whether it's, you know, with Leo, with Jack Nicholson, or, you know, Matt Damon trying to find out who's the you know, undercover cop, or, you know, just, you know, whatever it is. And, you know, then the cops are setting up trying to get Jack Nicholson, and
it's all based on Whitey Bulger too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And he was such a what a bad dude. But also, like, was he working for the government the whole time?
Never know.
Seems like it. Certainly seems like it. But yeah, Marty, I think that was Scorsese's first Oscar too.
That was his first one?
Yeah. So like, think about that. Scorsese, first Oscar, 33 years into his career since Mean Streets in 73.
Yeah.
And then Leo didn't win his first Oscar till 2015, 2016 with The Revenant.
Yeah.
That's 25 years into his acting career. Wow. But I heard from a really, really good source that all those rumors that people shouldn't even think of as rumors, that like Leo was shunned by the Academy to win because the Academy likes people a certain way. Yeah. They don't like the guy that rolls in off the private jet onto fucking the tarmac in Miami with 27 Victoria's Secret models and like a lot of blow in the back. They don't like that. So they basically
wait, that was Leo?
No, yeah. You're not. But they basically like blackballed him for a long time. So he'd get nominated, but then, you know, like there were a lot of movies he should have won for.
There was a lot of movies. He was nominated for like how many over?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like, I don't know the number, but look it up. It's got to be like 8, something like that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of movies he was nominated for that he came very close to, but yeah.
There's something about like these critic clicks, you know? Like we rely on these people to tell us what's good and what's not, but the people always end up deciding.
Yeah.
Remember Dave Chappelle last year?
Yeah.
With that special?
No.
You didn't see that special?
No.
Oh my God. He did in 2019, he did his first Netflix special, I think. It was his first one. And when it came out, Rotten Tomatoes rated it a 0 or a 1%.
A 0? Wow.
Yeah, like the worst thing it could possibly be. And it was written by like 5 critics who were like offended by what he said. Fucking comedian. They're offended by what he says. And then Rotten Tomatoes opened it up to the public to then create the score, and it went up to a 99%.
No.
Yeah, because like critics, you know, they have
they don't.
they have a point of view. Like, imagine how much different, and you know, there's a downside to it, but imagine how much different it would be if like people voted on the Oscars or the Grammys. You know?
Well, that's what they do with the NBA. The people vote for the All-Stars.
They do, but then they don't vote. They don't vote. They do. Okay. And then they don't vote for the end of year stuff. So like the writers vote for the MVP.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year, stuff like that. Yeah.
And like the Hall of Fames too.
Yeah.
You know, like with baseball, they're gonna let in Bonds and Clemens and all that. The writers control that.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope, but I almost think like the fans should have a say.
Yeah, you should definitely have a say.
Like that's
for
the
watching.
market.
It's our fucking money. I'm fucking paying. You know, if you're going to the game, you're fucking paying for the seats, right?
I, Luke Cervino, am going to decide who goes into the Hall of Fame. I'm paying for these seats.
We all are. We all.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's funny.
You been listening to any good music? You never hesitate on music. You're always like, Julie, you got to hear this one song, and then it turns into 35 songs.
You know, I've been definitely really focused in music, but I mean, I've been focused in, you know, just work and stuff like that. But music, I mean, you got to give it to him. He's the hottest one out now, Lil Baby.
Yeah, man. I'm not I won't pretend to be a fan.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
He drops something like every other day.
Yeah. But it's you know, it's out there. Think about the song. I don't know if you saw it during the pandemic, and I think it was called The Bigger Picture. Like, he was telling a story. You're a big storyteller in the music, right? Who's your favorite guy?
He's over there.
Yeah,
he's behind the camera.
Yeah. So he was a storyteller. You know, if you listen to this song that he made during this whole time, you know, pandemic, and you know what happened with George Floyd. He spilled it all out there. You know, he was talking about what he was feeling at that point, and how kind of, you know, black people feel, you know. So, you know, I think he's up there, and, you know, I'm excited to see Monty's music come out soon, but I don't know. Been kind of, you know, taking a break from music a little bit just to fucking... Bro, I'm so into sports cards, you have no idea. You really don't.
Looks like, can we go back to that again?
I don't want to keep talking about it, but I'm on it 24/7.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know?
I mean, we were talking before the podcast. You wouldn't shut the hell up about it.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, shit, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, it's looking at your collection, it's the numbers kind of stress me out. It's like...
Yeah. And you're a numbers guy.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You are keeping track of like, I can't imagine owning 4,000 or 5,000 stocks. Can't imagine that. Can't imagine it.
But
you know,
yeah, no, I agree with that. And it's just, you know, like I said before, if you got guys that are older and then 1970, 80, those guys their stocks aren't really going up that much. So you can either hold on to it and see what happens, or you could sell it and then, you know, make some money. But it's the guys that are now that you're doing the most research, the most analytics on, you know, like from even last week, one of the players that plays for Washington, Rory Hakamura, he was at his raw card on Star Stock was at $20. I think right now it's at $30.
Like a move like that, I mean, that's a 33% move. Damn.
Like,
and you could own a lot of him.
Think about it. You could, as many cards as they have up there, you could have bought.
Yeah.
You know, at a $20, you know, some people might have it up there for 40, 50, but you might not, you don't want to buy it for that much. But if you buy, you know, say you bought 50 of them at $20, you know, you just made $10 each on 50 on you know, 50 of them. It's a nice profit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And you could either sell half of them, or, you know, get them shipped to your house from Star Stock and get them graded, or, you know, but it's, you know, with the market and, you know, with me being involved in basketball so much and the media and, you know, with Kendrick and what we do, and, you know, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of hard work. You're doing a lot of research. You're talking to people. You're seeing where you should sell your cards, for how much you should sell your cards. Where do you think these players are going to go, and do you think they're going to get traded? Russell Westbrook is now on the Washington Wizards.
So what happened to his card value? There's a good question. What happened to his card value when that happened? 2 questions on it. Not just his overall value on the market, but like, for example, did specifically his Houston card get a lot more valuable because now he doesn't play for them anymore? So they're not.
Well, no, you really go more off of the rookie cards. So like now guys, you could buy their second year cards and they'll still be worth something. But back then, you're not really buying second year cards. You're buying all the rookie cards. But even now you got LeBron James's cards that are still going for a good amount, that are in his 10th year on the Lakers, or 15th year on the Lakers when he's with them, because they came out with different cards now. Now they have all different types of cards. Like, this is a Panini Prism, but there's also Panini Select, there's Panini Mosaic. There's so many different kinds of cards.
I love the names on this shit.
Yeah, but there's so many different kinds of cards that you got to keep up, and you got to know which cards are, because there's obviously different levels to the card. Like Panini, the Prism, the base card, that's like, the Prisms are like the highest kind of cards. Then you probably have like Select, and then you go from Select to, maybe Donruss Optic, or, but there's different kinds of Select. There's Select Concourse, there's Select Premium level. So, and there's 20 different types of prisms. So it's like you have so many cards that fluctuate that, they might, like I said, they might make 10,000 of these, but, another card, it might be, one of 25 cards. That could be an autograph. That could be going for $20,000.
Well, wait, how does that work? I didn't ask about that. So you get, just say, the best card in the world, right? And it's not autographed. Now it gets autographed, whoever it is. Let's say
No. You have to get the card has to be autographed, like before it becomes like right when it comes a card. Panini has deals with the athletes, and that's how they get autographed. If I take this card and get it signed by Luka Doncic, it wouldn't mean anything really.
It would only mean something if he signed it when it came out.
Yeah. Like if it was an autographed card, like you would have it. There would be a section here where you would see his signature. You know what I mean? But if he signed this, like I don't know if it would mean that much. Me personally, I might have to look into that more, but it wouldn't.
I should have asked you this, actually. I just thought of this. I don't know why. Yeah. But did you learn a lot about this business before you were interested in it because you were working with athletes where you would set up deals like this all the time where they got to sign shit and,
Oh, signings? Yeah, definitely.
But they were signing cards a lot.
Yeah. Panini and Topps and stuff like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the one guy's name you did some work with? The guy, Stein? You know who I'm talking about?
No, that was more Lee Steinberg?
No, not Lee Steinberg. That's the agent. Yeah. The guy, Steiner Sports.
Yeah. That's like collectibles and stuff like that. Yeah.
So is he an expert in this stuff? I would take it.
Steiner Sports? Yeah.
Like the actual trading of it now?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know that much. I don't know that much about it. Steiner Sports.
I guess Chaz dealt with them.
Yeah, Chaz definitely dealt with them more.
Got it.
But for, signing purposes or but they could pay a guy to sign. Like, one of my buddies, he talked to Tom Brady's guy who does the autographs, right? And that didn't set up the deal for Tom Brady. Tom Brady said, I think it's $1,000 a signature, but the minimum he'll do is $500. So what's that math?
Wait, $1,000 a signature, but the minimum. So really, it's $500 a signature, and he might do it.
No.
At the end of the day, I'm just doing some math here.
No. Like, is 1,000 plus times 500 500,000?
Oh, so okay. I totally misunderstood.
Yeah. So he'll only do a signature if he's doing it per $1,000 per signature, and the minimum he's got to sign 500 things. So does that equal 500,000?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So basically, if you spend $500,000, but you could sell if Tom Brady, you have 500 pictures of Tom Brady, and he signs them at $1,000, you could probably sell them for maybe $2,000, $3,000. That's Tom Brady. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But maybe the market has went up for that because of the whole card industry. You know what I mean? But, that's Tom Brady that's getting that price. Other guys, some guys are at $50, but you can still make good money because you're gonna sign 500 pieces at $50. That's still good money.
Yeah.
For a half hour,
Yeah, I totally missed that. First time he said that, I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So he's saying his price is really 500. Yeah, if he's doing at least 500, that's a good day.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
for Tom Brady, $1,000 a head at 500 of them. I mean,
yeah.
It
It might be the opposite. It might be $500 at 1,000 pieces or something like that. Like he doesn't sign.
Either way, that's not that hard.
No, exactly.
There's a lot of writing, but
Yeah, but
throw
hey,
in the headphones, do it for 2 hours, call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be worth Tom Brady's time. I mean,
So
Tom Brady's a good player.
wow, this is like complicated. So it matters when they signed it too. So do they have signature experts who can say like, I know that Michael Jordan signed this at age 24, not 44, how do they prove that?
Well, there's definitely like so you can get like say you have an autograph card, and you can get the card authenticated and also the autograph graded too. So this card is graded to 10, but if there was an autograph in there, I could get that graded. Sometimes they say don't get the autograph graded.
How do you grade an autograph?
I don't know. You gotta ask PSA. but I'm saying
That looks like a bad squiggle.
But no, like sometimes like a couple different guys are known for lifting up their pen if they're
Oh my God.
yeah, like at that certain if they got an L or an O and but if it doesn't look like it's the full ink of the whole card of the whole autograph, then it's not going to grade well. So that's why you're better off just getting the card graded and having it autographed. But
This is just crazy to me.
oh,
it's like
it's nuts.
you remember like the Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh days?
Yeah.
Like you remember like the kids who were like upset, like even more than
I
we
sent
were.
in 300 Pokemon cards.
You remember the kids that were like obsessed? They'll be like, "That's a great," like they could read the code by heart on the card. That's like what this is with like real people and cards, but it's like adults doing it and shit. It's it's crazy.
You got people that are 25, 30, 40, 50 years old, like 60 that are into this.
Maybe,
Have you ever opened up a pack of trading cards?
yeah,
Okay. When was the last time?
20 years ago.
Okay. If you opened it up now, you would not want to stop. Like it's a great feeling.
Why is that?
It's the excitement of getting a box of cards and you're opening them up and looking for the cards that you want, or it's there's no better feeling. Like it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that feeling, like when
But
you wanted
it's so
them.
different from when you're 10 years old to when you're now and you're investing money and you're like,
Give me this. I understand, but like, and don't get me wrong, like I'm holding these and they're fucking cool, and like part of it's this cute little, what's this plastic thing?
that's PSA graded.
Now, is this bulletproof?
It's not bulletproof. Please don't drop that.
So if I shoot a bullet at this card's fucked.
Yeah, but also you're fucked.
By you or Perk?
Both.
There's one I could take there. I don't know. No offense.
I don't know. Just don't tap me on the head.
But like I look at this and it's something about my mind state goes to, I don't even know how you say it, but something about like where my head's at goes to in this COVID technologically connected, human disconnected world goes to like people want to feel something human in a time where everything's so tech. Yeah. But there's also I mean, look, the trends go the opposite way on stuff. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like now you got digital art out there being auctioned off and shit.
What do we know right now that's going to last after COVID?
Physical things, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just, I think it's something that, yes, that skyrocketed with COVID, but the NBA season's starting in 3 weeks. You know how much boxes of cards used to go for, like, in January of this year?
How many are in a box?
It depends because they're all different packs, but sometimes 50 cards, sometimes 20 cards, sometimes 58, 60.
All right, so what would a 60 go for?
There was a box that my buddy was buying in January, and I think the box, maybe he was buying it at $100 a box. He bought 20 boxes.
Okay.
So
Now what would it go for?
Well, now what is it going for?
Yeah.
I would like you to take a guess. And I'll tell you, it's not over
100 boxes, $20 a box.
Yeah, it went for $100. Don't even think about it.
And you don't know who you're getting in there. You just know like the league and
you have basically you have less than a 5% chance every time you buy a box to get the card that you're actually looking for. Less than a 5% chance.
I like how he did that then. He bought 100 boxes.
No, but 20 of them at $100.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I had it
yeah,
backwards. So he literally, what's 5 times 20? 100.
Yeah.
So you have 100 outs, and you're thinking, okay, you're going to land your 5% there.
That box right now, it's not over $1,000. I'll help you out there. But
20 boxes at $100 a piece, $400?
what the box is going for right now? That's going for about $750.
You bought those in January?
Yeah.
Malone.
Last week they were going for $600. I'm not going to give away the box because
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, last week it was going for $600. Now it's going for $750. January is going for $100.
Who do you talk, like you said, obviously, like Gary V.
Who do you know?
No, really. Like, who do you know? Like, sometimes, like, when I'll be talking about, like, a source on stuff, people say, wait, like, who's your source on that info? I'll be like, my guy Luke. And they're like, all right, well, who's he talk to? I'm like, Luke is the one guy I will tell you as a source on something. And I won't say it's ironclad, but like when he says he's talking to somebody, he is that like it's like you could low key come in and be like, yeah, I got this guy and he said, there might be like a little bomb over Israel. I don't know. It's just kind of in the wind. And then like a year later, it's like, who were you talking to? I was talking to the president. Like you're low key about it. But like Gary V was out there tweeting about this and being like, come on, man. You gotta get in the. Listen. I would Delta getting into cards right now.
You forgot the like.
The like in 2018. If you're not like into cards, man, like, do you know what this shit's gonna be doing in 2020? Wait, did we get a cut there? We got a cut there. All right, yeah. Hold on, let me do that again. Do you know what this shit's gonna be doing in 2020? Like I know he was out there doing this. That's like
pretty good.
Second podcast in a row I'm doing a Gary V impression. But like, who are you reaching out to that's an expert on this? Like, who was in this business besides like guys who like work, behind the stand at, a top store and haven't seen their dick in 30 years? Like, who was an expert? Like, are you going on LinkedIn and going like card?
So you have been to a card store recently?
I haven't been to a card store in fucking 20 years, bro. I'm just telling you, that guy with a little more of a beard, a couple more slabs, and a little bit more of like gray hairs. It's the same guy.
Honestly, I just, I've talked to a few people that have been in the industry, but bro, I've done my own research. Like, I've seen what cards are selling for. I've read articles and watched YouTube videos and, talked to a few people. Yes, you have to talk to people that have been in the industry, to learn things, but, they can't, give you the whole, how I say it, the recipe to the answers to the recipe, but.
So you're just watching price action all the time, pretty much.
Yeah, and sometimes it like I should have invested a lot more. Like I'm not doing. I could have done a lot better in February and March. I only bought 3 Lucas that are going for $1,700 now.
Idiot.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like if I was, but who the hell knew it would skyrocket 100%? Like so.
Yeah, you match your lifelong passion though with business and money though. That's a pretty cool thing.
Well, exactly. So
and it also plays in the space that you've already done that in, which is matching it with working with players and working on deals. Like that's what you got to find, man. I remember one story that always struck me because it's like from your stereotypical business world, but it's so true. There's this guy, Steve Cohen, who is like an all-time great hedge fund guy. He was like a big Goldman guy. He's one of the greatest hedge fund titans of all time. By the way, huge art collector, like an expert on, you want to talk about like physical collectibles, like he's got like $1 billion collection.
Wow.
But the way that he learned to be so great in the marketplace, and people have talked about this, like he's the best at it, is when he went to college in Philly, he would walk into Center City and one of the buildings would have the stock, ticker going along the outside graphic, just like they have in New York and everything. And he would just sit there and watch the numbers over and over again every single day. Just watch numbers. Yeah. And that's how like, to your point, you're like, I can go talk to some people and do some stuff. And there's no doubt he did some of that too. But like, you're in there looking at the price action and then matching like okay, well, this player does this thing. And so he's going to have the shot to do this. So what does his price do? And it's a lot of just intuitive learning.
Instincts, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to have the instincts.
Yeah.
You have to know basketball. You have to, obviously have the research and knowledge behind basketball. But, it's instincts. You know what I mean? Like, so anybody could predict, these three guys, he was picked, top 5 and all these guys were picked top 5 in their class. So, you got a good percentage of people that are betting on these guys, but it's the guys that are going for $4 or $5 right now that, can have a breakout year where you're going to make, 100% of your on a profit. You know what I mean? Like those are the ones that you want. Those are the sleepers that you want, so, but yeah, it's funny that you said that story because I was talking to somebody else about the sports cards and they had said, they walked in, I forget where the bar was located, but they said that they had something like that on the screen where if everybody was buying this beer, say it was Bud Light, if everybody was buying this beer, the price went up. And if people weren't buying Miller Lights, the price was going down. And it was kind of like cool how that bar did it, But
it's all supply and demand, baby.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's everything in life. You got to have people that want to buy it and people that want to sell it. And what's the ratio?
Exactly,
dude. I'm proud of you. You're crushing it in this, and like it's a whole new frontier as well. Like you obviously have already. I mean, when you and I became friends a couple years ago, you were kind of at the crossroads, like figuring out how to go on your own and whether or not you could make it happen with some of these relationships you built up. And, we spent a lot of today talking about Perk and a little bit on Mont and stuff. And I don't know what you're allowed to talk about out loud, but I know some of the other stuff like you've worked on and you're humble about it. But it's pretty amazing. I mean, the trust that you've built with some serious people and, not anyone can just do that. And you find a way to not only do that, but then really focus on getting into the businesses some of these guys want to do. And listening to you talk about cards for the first time, like really extensively in person, it's like, Jesus, dude, like relax. But it's pretty good.
Gotta get back to that even keel.
No. But I'm exaggerating. I mean it. Like it's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah. So I always talked about, and I know you always did too, a lot of guys I talked to would talk about, when things get rough or something goes wrong, you got to lean in, right? And COVID happens, crazy, unprecedented shit. And like there's people who lean in and get really good at shit and make a lot of things happen, like you. And then there's people who don't. And I think you said this earlier, but that's something that's kind of in your control. Like you're capable of it.
Yeah.
He's out of bullets. All right, dude. Well, we've been talking like all day. This is great. Thank you for coming down to basically Alabama. Fucking guy. But we'll do this again at some point. I think we might get together next week. Looking forward to that. But I appreciate you, brother.
Nah, this was awesome, Jules.
I missed you. I missed you, dog.
It's been
I say that to everyone.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate you for having me, and what you got set up here is awesome, bro.
Thank you, my
Proud
dude.
of you.
Thank
and
you.
This has definitely been a great time.
All right. Well, I'm Julian Dorey. This is Luke Cervino coming at you from the bunker, and give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace.